Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning, all.
It's great to be here with you. So I'm Diana. You all know Philo and Chris. Say hello, Philo.
Hi, everyone. Hiya. Welcome, everyone.
So we're really excited this morning to be kicking off our kickstart for the autumn winter. And I've got my pens and notepads. What about you guys?
I'm ready. I've got my first steps to manager. I've got my incentives brochure. I've got my notes. I've got all my colored pens. I'm ready to go.
I've got my yellow and I've got my forum.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope everybody is the same and they've got their snacks and their... Oh, I've got my water too. So I'm good to go for the next 3.5 hours, which are going to be jam-packed with stacks of information to help you build your business in this last quarter. Exciting. So we're 9 o'clock. Shall we?
We shall begin. So Philo and I are going to disappear in the background. And Chris, let me introduce Chris. You know, Chris has been a huge inspiration for me, really, from the beginning of my journey with Forever. Together with her husband, Alan, they have grown a phenomenal business. They are one of our most highly recognized leaders and trainers because of their integrity, their genuine desire to make a difference and help others. They always go the extra mile, which can be a bit annoying sometimes, because sometimes I just want to get on with things, but always go the extra mile. And they just make sense. Best business practice, and they just make sense. And I can tell you, you're in really good hands this morning, kicking us off, the amazing Chris Goldberg. So over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so as I say, I hope you've got everything ready to really focus this morning over the next few hours. And I promise you, if you apply consistently what we're going to share with you this morning, you won't recognize your business in the next 4 to 6 months. Now, many of you will no doubt have recognized Tashi and Nunchi, which we've featured. Well, they're on the slide now, but we featured them in our advert for this morning. And they're the new Forever ambassadors and our inspiration for our training today. So for those of you that didn't recognize them or don't know much about them, these are two remarkable young ladies born in India into a culture that didn't really favor them. In the country in which they lived, boys were deemed to be much more superior to girls, and girls didn't have the opportunity. In fact, in many areas around the world, we know women don't always have the same opportunities as boys. And this was the world they found themselves in. Luckily, their parents were liberal and they nurtured their love of the great outdoors. But the family and friends were constantly reminding their parents what a disappointment it must be having two girls. And this really rubbed off on Tashi and Nunchi. And they determined, amidst all that negativity, to break all barriers. And, well, just a few of the things that they've achieved and have gone on to achieve since they first made that decision. Diana, if you could just flick the slide, please. So just look at this list. The first female twins to summit Mount Everest at just 21 years old. The first siblings and youngest ever to complete the Adventurers Grand Slam, scaling the highest peaks on every continent and skiing to the North and South Poles. I'm worn out just reading it. Winners of India's highest adventure award. 2016, aged 23, they were awarded the Leif Erikson Young Explorers Award in Iceland, and they founded India's first outdoor leadership academy. They also led in Amazon's toughest race, led a team hosted by Bear Grylls. So a huge list of achievements. And what they're looking to be is to put themselves on the map and be a force for good. And amazing to see all they've achieved. Now, on hearing the girls speak at the global rally and on reading their blog, which is on Forever Knowledge, they're also featured in Aloe Life. I was really struck by how really we're more alike than different, in that how the pursuit of any goal makes that happen. It makes us more alike and different. And the goals we set ourselves, there are mountains to climb. Many of the issues are just as challenging, though different. And when we read some of the messages from Tashi and Nunchi, that really came home to me. Next slide, please, Diana. So it's not about conquering our goal. It's about the journey we take, the people we meet, and the friends we make. Pursuing a worthy goal challenges us. It challenges us to grow. And it is, I think it was Jim Rohn who said, not the achievement of the goal, but the people we become along the way. Now, I couldn't even begin to imagine swimming through swamps, climbing mountains, and doing all of the many great things that Tashi and Nunchi have done. But I can put myself, well, over my 23 years in Forever, the many times that the goal that I've set for myself has seemed too far away, too big, and I've doubted, could it really be achieved? As they too say, it is often not about the visible, but the invisible challenges we face, the challenge of conquering ourselves. And isn't that so true? The challenge of silencing that little voice, that voice that says, maybe the goal's too big, maybe I can't do it, maybe it's other people can achieve, and maybe not me. They said that as they carried their rucksacks up each mountain, what they really carried alongside those provisions in that rucksack were their flaws, their fears, their doubts, and others' negative expectations of them. Isn't that true too of all of us? When we have a goal, we can only be positive part of the time, and it is that little voice we need to silence. And so, next slide, please, Diana. We are 8 months gone, 8 months of the year, and what a year it's been. And with 8 months gone and 4 months to go, it really is now a time, I believe, to take a checkup from the neck up, as Jamru would say, a time to adjust our mindset, a time to reset and think about what we want. A time to review our goals, to question our thinking and our beliefs, and our commitment to any goal that we've already set ourselves. We've been through a lot this last 18, 19 months. Wherever you are in the world, it may have been a different boat, but we've all been through a tremendous storm. And it can be that we've lost sight of the goals that we set. And when there's just 4 months of the year to go, it can be really tempting to think, do you know what? I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So I'll just start again in January. And I really urge you not to do that. That is absolutely the worst thing that you can do, because all our experience shows that these 4 months are the kickstart into 2022. The last 4 months of the year, creating energy, creating momentum is what will set you off for a fantastic year next year. And that's why September, October, November, and December are so important. Next slide, please, Diana. Oh, my paper's too big. So now is the time to reset. 4 months to go. If you just click on Diana, time for that reset, time to maybe break down our bigger goals and think, what part of that goal do I want to achieve by the end of the year? Now is a great time to think about what's really important to us. It's a great time to look at the marketing plan, look at the incentive book. Do I want to move position? Do I want to achieve one of the big incentives? And then to break that down into what part of that goal can be achieved in the last 4 months of the year. Don't forget, these 4 months are traditionally the biggest 4 months of the year in forever. So there's never been a better time to do that reset than right now. For me, this last month, I've done just that. I've looked at the goals that I set for this year and for next year, and I've broken them down, rethought about them, and assessed what I really want to achieve by the end of the year. I'm a great believer in the law of attraction, which is working, whether we know it or not. So really important to just think about where our energy is and what are we attracting into our lives. And so I'm a big believer in a dream book, a vision board, and that's something I've had ever since I started my forever business. Certainly within the first 12 months of starting, when I realized and really understood the importance of that vision and having a goal. But I've done something different this last month than I've ever done in the 23 years, and I thought I'd share that with you. Instead of having a goal book, which works really well, a vision book, a vision board, which works really well, I've just always been a lover of a vision book, and I've had them all through the years, and I've had one for 2021 too. But I've realized that I've been looking at the same images, and the goals are very large, and they're not inspiring me in these next 4 months because they seem too far away. And that was when I sat down and really thought about this next quarter. And so for me, I've put together this time a magical vision box. It's in one of the boxes, lovely boxes that we got at the rally, but it can be in any box. And in here, I've just popped the things that I want to achieve in this next 4 months. So personal things, business things, images that really make something mean something to me. And I've been amazed at how this has inspired me, re-energized me, and given me that bubble of excitement in my tummy for this last quarter. Now, it may be you've got a vision board or a vision book. It doesn't matter. The message is really 2 things. What I'd urge you to do is to take that checkup. Where is your thinking at? To set that goal, to break it down, and then to write it down and to put it into an image. Be it a book, be it a board, or borrow my top tip of a magical vision box. It's by having that image, those images of what we want to achieve, morning and night in front of us, that will press the reset button and move us forward as over this next period. So we're looking to reset. We're looking for that strong vision. We're looking to reach out and help other people, to whether it be with the products or with the opportunity. We're looking to help people have a better future. And as we come through these next 4 months with certainly in the UK, furlough ending, with COVID still very much a part of all our lives across the world, there's never been a better time to reach out and maybe lift other people to help them see a better vision, a bigger vision for their future in 2022. Next slide, please, Diana. So Tashi and Nunshi shared a common belief, a common goal, a common belief that made them stronger together. And we too have that common belief. Our goals may be different, but what underlies our goal is our belief in the forever opportunity, a belief in the forever products, a belief in the forever business, and a belief that forever truly is a force for good in other people's lives. We may be working alone at home, but we're very much part of the forever family. We're very much part of a team. And together, with that belief in the products, in the opportunity, in that force for good, that can give us the courage to, in Rex Mourn's words, our founder's words, to be the hero in our own story. All it takes is that vision, that goal, and that commitment to move forward step by step each day. What we're going to do this morning is help you along that track. And to do that, let me introduce Diana. I'm not sure I can do quite as good an introduction, so thank you for the intro, Diana. What can I say about her? Well, oh no, she's looking at me, I'm under pressure.
Now come out.
I remember Diana from, well, it must be 20 years ago now when she first joined Forever. And one of the great things of having been in the business such a long time is seeing people join Forever and build a fantastically successful business, a business that changes their lives. And I remember Diana coming with the same doubts, the same fears we all have when we start. But she's been someone who has been a complete inspiration to watch, to see her grow, to see her learn, and most importantly, to see her apply consistently all she's learned to develop the business she has, to grow the team she's grown, has been an absolute joy. Diana has an amazing team. She builds her business with integrity. She is completely authentic in all she does. And that, again, is an inspiration. So you're in very safe hands with Diana for this next slot. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, my dear friend Chris. That was beautiful. And you're right, it's 20 years at the end of this month. I must have been 12 when I joined Forever. But yes, you know, the opportunity, when I think about where my mindset was, I really had stinking thinking when I joined, although I didn't know I had stinking thinking.
Yes.
And lacking in confidence and just really always a little bit anxious. So when I think about how much Forever has given me because of the people it has put me around, people like you, like Philo, like Jane, you know, I'm a different person. I have found myself. And that's really, and I've come to learn that that's what people mean when they say it's not about the position you achieve or the income you develop. It's about who you become. I get that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that amazing kickoff. So let's see if we can get started with the next bit. So I want to chat a little bit about new beginnings. And I want to chat a little bit about new beginnings because that's really what I believe September is. You know, this is my, as we've already heard, I'll be celebrating 20 years with Forever at the end of this month. And I've come to realize that there are 3 natural times of year when we feel a particular, I guess it's a natural platform to, I guess, start or see it as a new beginning, draw a line in the sand. What I call, you know, times of the year that are particularly ripe for a new beginning, like Chris was describing. So like Chris, you know, through August, you know, we've been thinking about this next New Year's, if you will. I know typically people look at the new year, calendar New Year, New Year's Day as the most obvious time to reset. It's almost become a cliche, hasn't it? That people say, well, when are you going to start something new? When are you going to give up a bad habit, start a new habit? Their mind tends to go to the new year, new calendar year, because the first day of a new calendar year really gives you the suggestion of the possibility of change. So when we talk about new beginnings, we are talking about the possibility of changes. And ultimately, I've learned that that's why people get started with forever, because they are dissatisfied with something. They're lacking something, or they have too much of something. They're looking for change, and forever can be that vehicle to help them change. So New Year's Day is a natural calendar year when people see it as a time for new beginnings. But I also, even from my own personal experience, see springtime, the spring season when nature is all regrowing and budding and blossoming. That can also turn our minds to a season of rebirth and regeneration. But you know what? The most subtle time of year for deep change to take place is actually September, because it's the time of year when I think the largest number of people tend to regroup. And it's because since the probably ages of 4 or 5, depending on where you are around the world, is when we start school. And the mere fact of kids going back to school, kids, adults, teenagers, that suggests that we are expecting change in that new school year. And so when you think about what's happened over the summer holidays, and you could almost say that since the pandemic, we've been living in unusual routine since March of last year. So we are all in need of the regrowth and the opportunity of change that this new September brings us. But over the summer months, you may have had a rest, you may have had a staycation, vacation. Your routine will have been different. Even if you don't have children who are still in that school routine, by the mere fact that most of the people who do have children are in a different routine, it affects the whole of the communities. And so coming back to school gives us a sense of restart. As I said, it's subtle, but it's most profound. And this is why Chris said that these last 4 months tend to be the most productive and explosive in growth, because all this is happening psychologically, at a subconscious level. So I really see September as a new beginning, and I hope you do too. And so like Chris, August was a time of reflection. And you might be thinking, well, do I need a change? Do I need a new beginning? Well, let me just share some thoughts with you. Maybe if you think about and be honest with yourself when I go through this next bit or this list of questions. And I want you to really connect with the first answers that kind of crop up subconsciously, because these are your clues for moving forward. Quite often when people feel stuck, I always say to them, I don't have the answers. The answers are actually inside of you, if you will quiet and still the mind long enough to hear those answers. And my vision is, in this slot this morning, that we are going to give you that quiet time to still the mind, to quiet the mind, so you can hear the answers that are inside of you. So if we imagine the school year, we've just ended the last school year because we're just beginning the new school year. And as you begin this new cycle, sometimes you can be conscious of maybe you're repeating the same mistakes. And anything that resonates with you, please, could I ask you to jot that down in your notebook? Because these are your clues for moving forward to impact that change that you're looking for. So maybe you can feel like you're repeating the same mistakes. Maybe you can feel as though things are not moving fast enough. And I can tell you, Chris and I are guilty of that all the time. We want it better, faster, stronger, and we want it not now, but we want it yesterday. So maybe you can feel like things aren't moving or things aren't changing fast enough. Or maybe in some cases, you may feel like you slid backwards a little bit. So this new beginning is a perfect time to reflect on what's happened in the last 12 months and really a time to ask yourself some questions. So I'm going to go through a series of simple questions. Some may be relevant, Some may not be relevant, and it doesn't matter. Whatever thoughts come to mind that are personal to you, jot them down in your notebook. Because we believe that 90% of success happens up here between your ears. So it's helping you to reset and adjust your mindset for the world we're living in today. So have a think through some of these things. How would you like things to be in a year's time if you could make the changes that you need to make? How would you like things to be different? Just jot down what comes to mind. What would you stop doing? Now that's an interesting one. What habits maybe do you need to let go of? What thought processes? What would you stop doing when you think about implementing or affecting change? What would you have started in the next 12 months? How would you look? Are you like me and the 40% of people in the UK who did a little bit of comfort eating in lockdown, and maybe your jeans don't quite fit so well? I know I'm in that camp, and thankfully to C9 my jeans fit again. But how would you look? How would you feel? Because if you're not happy with how you look, it can affect your focus, your concentration. What would others notice about you when you have changed? One of the most interesting experiences I've had over my 20 years with Forever is when I haven't seen people for a while, and then I bump into them at an event, and they just say to me, something's different about you. What have you been doing? And I'm thinking, well, I'm still wearing the same size clothes. Because it's not just about your waistline, it's about your energy, your charisma, your sense of vitality that you're giving off. You see, all these things are related. So how would you feel? And what is your presence, your energy saying about how you feel? So think about in 12 months' time. So what would you know? So what would others notice about you when you have changed? What would you want to keep hold of? Now, for me, this is always an important one, because what I always want to keep hold of is that I always will do the right thing, even when it's hard. Always build business to best practice. Always put people first before profits. What would you like to keep hold of? And another one, what would you let go of? What would you let go of? So these are just some questions to ponder in a time of reflection, because as we approach, or not we approach, we're in this new beginning now. It's the 4th of September. It is just as much about decluttering your mind and your heart, like we do a spring clean in the spring, in our homes, in our garages, in our sheds, in our gardens. In fact, I've had my son, he didn't have a choice. He had to do a spring clean in his bedroom before the new school year started, because, our environments affect how we feel and think and behave. So here we are, September 4th, a new beginning. And, what would be the first thing you would change today? Having had a few moments to just reflect on some of the questions I shared with you. What would you change today? I want to talk a little bit about motivation. Motivation is something I've studied quite a lot in my time with Forever, because I've had periods, short or long periods in my business, or even in projects I've embarked on in my personal life. Some things I seem to have had the motivation to follow it through to the end. And some things I seem to give up pretty quickly at the first hurdle. So I wanted to understand why my behavior was different. Why wasn't I always consistent with, doing things long after I said I was going to do them? You've heard that before, isn't it? That real success is carrying on to do that very thing you said you were going to do, but long after you said you were going to do it. And so I've really studied motivation, and I've learned that there are two types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. I've had to practice how to say those words. I had Charlotte giggling yesterday because I couldn't get them out of my mouth properly. So intrinsic, the clue is in the word in, things that motivate us from the inside out. And extrinsic is things that motivate us from the external part of who we are. And when we look at intrinsic versus extrinsic, oh, I nearly got that wrong. Extrinsic. There, I got it right. To affect long-lasting change, it's got to come from an internal motivator. And you'll have heard a lot about in Forever Knowing Your Why, being emotionally connected to your goals, why those goals are important to you. Because, like me in my personal life, it's easy to say, oh, I'd like to do an Ironman, and then the motivation disappears after about 4 days. And many times in Forever, people say, oh, I want to be a manager. I want to go for Eagle Manager, or I want to go for Global Rally, or quite frankly, I just want to do my 4 CCs. And the words come out, but as Philo says, their feet don't match their words. And it's because you're not motivated from what it will mean for you, what your goals are. When we look at, the journey to success in whatever you choose to do, cold water swimming, doing 4 CCs, achieving manager, decorating your house, whatever it is, there are going to be challenges along the way. And I love it that we had, and I can never say their names, Chris, the twins, our new ambassadors. Okay. Chris shared that they shared that for every single summit and race and challenge that they've achieved, every single one of them along that journey, they can plot the moments when it was just too freaking hard. And they had doubts about whether they could or couldn't. So if you're working towards a goal and you hit those challenges, it's normal. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say, when you start hitting those challenges, you should be patting yourself on the back, because that's a sign of you're actually moving forward. You're taking the steps to affect the change that you're looking for. And so when we think about, being motivated just by external factors, oh, it'd be great to do an Ironman, I'd feel like a god. Well, that's great. Well, that motivation lasted all of 4 days because it didn't actually mean anything to me emotionally. If you want to affect lasting change in your behavior, your actions that you take, your focus, your commitment, like the twins, to actually going the distance, the motivation has to come from within. It's got to be internal. So that when you're doing the activity, it delivers a sense of happiness and you feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Happiness, you feel purposeful, that what you're doing has purpose and meaning. So I really want you to think about that. Some of the things that maybe you started and then didn't follow through. Why was that? Were you doing it for reasons for yourself, the sense of enjoyment, sense of pleasure, the reward and happiness you were going to experience having achieved it, that sense of accomplishment? Or were you doing it because it was, a fleeting thought, or it was someone else's idea? Your internal motivation is, that when you take the action, you take it wearing a smile, you feel happy because it's leading you towards the rewards that you feel good about. And really, that's what this September is about now. It's your new beginning, and it's resetting the goals, reaffirming what those goals are, what's important to you. And sometimes the word goals can be a bit hippy-dippy, a bit far out for people. And one of my mentors a long time ago described it using the words, it's a willing to work for. I'm willing to do this because I want that. I was willing to do the C9 and give up all the cakes and cookies and Magnum ice creams and takeaways and oh, you wouldn't believe what I've eaten because I wanted to get back into my jeans. Willing to work for. What are you willing to work for? What are you willing to walk the journey and overcome the challenges, the disappointments, the learning curves to achieve? This is an exercise I did with Charlotte, and you're going to hear from Charlotte in just a few minutes. An exercise we did was to just sit and think about the next 4 months and think about what is it you want to achieve in the next 4 months. Because like Chris, the bigger goals can sometimes feel too far away and it becomes external motivation as opposed to some small stepping stone goals that we're working towards this month, next month, the month after, which can stimulate that internal motivation. So what I want to suggest everybody does is, thank you, Chris, we're going to do this now. We're going to do this live, but let me explain it. I want to give you the gift of time of 10 minutes to really connect with 20 things you're willing to work for over the next 4 months. Now, maybe it's longer term goals where you're going to chunk them down into some milestone goals. So if you're looking for a deposit on a house, and what's the milestone goal towards that bigger goal? But what are some of the things that are important to you in the next 4 months? We call them your need or your want goals, 20 things that you're willing to work for. And when I went through this with Charlotte, she's quite clever actually. She also did a second list and she wrote a personal list, things she wanted for herself. And these are just some examples, by the way. This is nobody's list. This is the example list. So I'm not sharing anybody's personal information, okay, because it is very personal. But some examples on your personal list could be you want to grow your self-confidence, you want to be more outgoing, you want to drop a dress size, you want to be a role model for your children, you want to stop gossiping, you want to stop bitching, moaning, whinging, you want to only speak positive thoughts that serve you. It could be whatever is right for you. And we're going to do something with this list in a few minutes. But the very first step is to identify what you're willing to work for. This is creating an endless supply of intrinsic motivation that comes from within. That means you'll carry on to do the activity long after you said you're going to do it. So get your notebook out and just let your mind be free, be honest with yourself. This is a very personal list. You do not have to share it with anybody. You can share it with your sponsor or your upline manager in your next planning meeting. But for now, this is just for you. I'm going to set the clock. We're going to play some music and I'm going to give you an opportunity to write your list. Now, this is a warning. You might all think that you can only see us and we can't see you. But I have spies. I'm really a secret MI5 agent. This is not the time to go for a loo break or to go and get some breakfast. This is work time because you're going to get out of this morning what you put into it. So when we start the music, don't be disappearing. Don't be putting the washing in the machine. Thank you, Juanita. This is time for you. So get a new sheet of paper out in your book. You want 2 lists going. You want your needs and wants goals, 20, and think about the personal side as well. And I'll come back to you in 10 minutes. The clocks, it's amazing. You should see the way the light dances up your head. A million colors of hazel, golden and red. Saturday morning is fading. The sun's reflected by the coffee
softly cleanse. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. The weather outside's changing. The leaves are buried under 6 inches of white. The radio is playing I and mine. This is a new dimension. This is a level where we're losing track of time. I'm holding nothing against it, just you and I. We were all drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't let go. I will hold on tight until the afterglow. And the world so bright till the darkness softly cleans. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. I never have given you a second look, but I like the way you don't give a damn. You seem like someone I could pick a fight with and dance all night with. Baby, you like me the way I am. Even though you got bad tattoos and smell like booze, I'm into you. Even though you got an attitude, baby, I'm in love. I'm saying a little too much, I'm a little bit drunk. Feels like I know you so well. You could be everything that I've been missing. I'm coming out of my shell. I never do that. How did you do that? It's like I know you my whole life. So we're a little drunk. Let's go out together. Yeah. Let's go out together. I'm never that good in a crowded room. But everything stopped when I just saw you. You seem like someone I could be myself with, no defenses. Maybe you like me the way I am. Even though you talk way too fast, I can't stop looking at your eyes. It's done every time you laugh. Baby, I'm in love. I'll say a little too much, I'm a little bit drunk. Feels like I know you so well. You could be everything that I've been missing. I'm coming out of my shell. I never do that. How did you do that? It's like I've known you my whole life. So we're a little drunk. Let's go
wake up every morning feeling better, cause I know you're sleeping by my side. And every moment we're together, I remember just to keep it on for you and I see the body in the sunlight, feeling the heat and it feels right. I wanna do this for the rest of my life. Oh, I know, you know the vibe. I wanna stay with you every night. You and me underneath the lights. I'm always good when you're by my side. I know you're on my mind. You really make me come alive. I wanna be here for the rest of my life. Looking for sun rays, needing them good days. Fly me away. You're my holiday. Cool like the ocean, lost in emotion. Find me away. You're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine. Ice cold drinks till the moonlight. You're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine.
Okay, so I wish I could come and see and sit with each of you and give you a really great big warm hug to congratulate you on taking these first steps. These first steps are so important to achieving success in the coming months and also in the future. So this is your first step. I now want to take you through a little journey, on a little journey. And what we're going to do with this willing to work for this, and what I helped Charlotte to do was I suggested she do a timeline. A timeline looking like this. Like this. The slide will change. Oh, okay. So it's now about deciding. Look at your long list. Okay, so what I did with Charlotte, we had her long list, and I suggested she now look at the next 4 months: September, October, November, December, and go through your list and choose which of those goals are we working towards each month. So Charlotte did this. She chose what she wanted to achieve in July, the month she joined, what she wanted to achieve or tick off her list in June, the month she joined, in July, and also August and September. She did it right through to December. Very cautiously, you're going to get to hear from Charlotte in a few minutes, but this is the next step. I really want you to think about, what do you want to tick off? What's most important to you this month, October, November, December? And add up the total amount of income you need to achieve that. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes now to do this next exercise. So you may want to have it side by side in your notebook, or tear out a sheet of paper and sit it over top your willing to work for list, and just quickly draw 4 columns and just start to think about, what are your priorities? What are your priorities right now this month? This is where we are creating your personal fireworks of intrinsic motivation, so you carry on to do the things you said you were going to do long after you're going to do them. So here we go. You're going to get a few minutes now to do this next step.
Let's go home together. I'm never that good in a crowded room. But everything stopped when I just saw you. You seem like someone I could be myself with, no defenses. Maybe you like me the way I Even though you talk way too fast, I can't stop looking at your eyes. It's stuck every time you laugh. Baby, I'm in love. I'll say a little too much, I'm a little bit young. It feels like I know you so well. You could be everything that I've been missing. I'm coming out of myself. How did you do that? How did wake up every morning feeling better cause I know you're sleeping by my side. And every moment we're together I remember just to keep it all for you and I see that body in the sunlight, feeling the heat and it feels right. I wanna do this for the rest of my life. Oh, I know, you know the vibe. I wanna stay with you every night. You and me underneath the lights. I'm always good when you're by my side. I know, you're on my mind. You really make me come alive. I wanna be here for the rest of my life. Looking for sun rays, needing them good days. Fly me away, you're my holiday. Cool like the ocean, lost in emotion. Find me away, you're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine, ice cold drinks till the moonlight. You're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine, ice cold drinks till the moonlight. You're my holiday. I wanna stay up till the morning when you're talking just to listen to the things you say. And every time we're in the middle of the city, I imagine us so far away. I see that body in the sunlight, feeling the heat and it feels right. I wanna do this for the rest of my life. Oh, I know, you're on my mind. You really make me come alive. I wanna live for the rest of my life. Looking for sun rays, needing them good days. Fly me away, you're my holiday. Cool like the ocean, lost in emotion. Find me away, you're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine, ice cold drinks till the moonlight. You're my holiday. Whenever you're here, it's a good time. Strawberry shirts in the sunshine, ice cold drinks till the moonlight. You're my holiday. You're my holiday. You're my holiday. I see that body in the sunlight, feeling the heat and it feels right. I wanna do this for the rest of my life. Oh, I know, you're on my mind. You really make me come alive. I wanna live for the rest of my life. Looking.
So now I've got a couple of questions to ask you, because I'm going to give you another 2 minutes in just 2 minutes. Because when you were writing your willing to work for list and your personal willing to work for list, and then when you were creating your timeline for the next 4 months, were you holding back? Were you questioning, is this really possible? Do I have my head in the clouds? What's realistic? If anybody heard themselves ask themselves a question, is this realistic? Well, I don't know what's realistic. Well, let me tell you, if you're prepared to put the time and effort in and have a great learning attitude, you see everything is possible. Realistic is just a word to trick your subconscious mind and to hold you back. This is September. It's the new beginning where everything is possible. So I'm going to ask you to go back. You're going to get 2 or 3 minutes. Go back, revisit your willing to work for list, revisit your timeline, and just give yourself a nudge, what I call shake the tree, shake yourself a little bit. And if you have heard your little voice saying, is this realistic? Is this possible? You need to just knock it off. Okay? Everybody's just knock it off. Knock that little voice off. So I'm going to give you another couple of minutes. I'm going to go back and revisit your willing to work for list and your timeline. So here you go. I'll give you some lovely music to listen to and have a little go again, a little review.
Stop the clocks, it's amazing. You should see the way the light dances up your head. A million colors of hazel, golden and red. Saturday morning is fading. The sun's reflected by the coffee in your hand. My eyes are caught in your gaze all over again. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't let go. I will hold on tight until the afterglow, and we'll burn so bright till the darkness softly clears. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. The weather outside's changing. The leaves are buried under 6 inches of white. The radio is playing I and mine. This is a new dimension. This is a level where we're losing track of time. I'm holding nothing against it, just you and I. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared.
Okay, so I'd love just for you to pop in the comments, because I'm seeing some people just give me some feedback. In that extra 2 minutes when you went to revisit it, did you give yourself a bit of a shake up and really be honest with yourself about what's important to you? I hope you did, because you'll get out of it what you put into it. And this is the foundation to having long-lasting motivation that gets you through the tough times like the twins. A piece of homework for today is to create a vision board. I'm just going to jump ahead. No, okay. Is to create a vision board, like Chris shared. She said vision boards, dream books, dream boxes, vision statements. It's something I'm working on as we speak, is creating a new vision board. My favorite thing is to have a poster with all the pictures of things that I'm working towards. It's something that I dismissed for a long time in my business, and it cost me. It held me back because I didn't have something to visually focus on, which meant anything else that came in my path distracted me, took my attention off what was really important. So I want to encourage you all to create a vision board, a dream box, a dream book for the next 4 months. This is a short, sharp. It's about moving from the telescope, which is a long-term vision, and swapping that telescope for a magnifying glass. What am I working for right now? So I would encourage you to do that. Have it done in the next few days, and be accountable. Share it with your sponsor. Share it with your upline, because that brings it from the thoughts, it brings it from the internal world to the external world. Okay, so now we've got the foundation. We know where the motivation is being fueled from. It's now about how are we going to get there. And I love this. The distance between your dreams and reality is called action, 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 action stations, baby. So this is where if you have done the exercise properly and created your own bountiful, endless supply of intrinsic motivation, this bit is fun. This is the fun bit. And that's putting the plan together. Putting the plan together. How are we going to get there? What action do we need to take? How do I plan my time? This is just an example of a September plan. Now, this is based on an assistant supervisor income, assistant supervisor, active assistant supervisor, retail profit, and sponsoring bonus. So if you are a supervisor, assistant manager, manager, of course, the numbers are going to be higher. And now this is an important step. This is about planning enough activity so you achieve that income goal that you've set for yourself on your willing to work for list on your timeline for September. This is where the rubber meets the road. And my top tips are plan more than you need. Have backup built into your plan. Front load the month. Get as much activity in the first half of the diary in the month as you can, because it allows for what we call Murphy's Law to come into place, which is things that can go wrong will go wrong. You know, we continue to live in an ever-changing world. You can make plans always knowing that there's going to be a degree of change because of COVID. So put backup, plan early in the month so you have enough time to stay flexible and agile and adapt your plan so that you don't change the goal, you change the plan. Now, you'll only go that distance if you are intrinsically motivated. Because if you go into a new venture, a new month, a new plan, expecting everything to be rainbows and unicorns, like me, because I live in a rose-colored world, I can tell you, my world, I love to believe, is full of unicorns and rainbows, and that's not the reality. The reality is the road to success is always under construction, and we need to be ready. But you have all the tools to handle that, the construction on the road. Here are just a list of examples. There's lots and lots and lots of training right around all across all the teams, right across all the forever platforms. Let me tell you, there's no shortage of training on how to do the activity. The first step is planning it and then following it through. Now, this is just an example plan. I want to talk to you about promotions in the marketing plan. I want to, you've all got a First Steps to Manager book. I want you to think about supervisor, what a supervisor income will mean for you. Supervisor income, 500 to 700 pounds a month. If your goals for September requires more than a few £100 a month from your retail profit, it's got to come from duplication. Maybe it's assistant manager income you're looking for, 700 to £1,000 a month. What are your plans for promotions? And people who say, you can't achieve promotions in the summertime or when it's back to school, you can find a reason to not do anything. And when you find yourself going down the excuses path, this is when I want you to imagine I'm there and I'm shaking you and I'm saying, wake up, wake up. Okay. I had a fantastic new supervisor in August, Nicola Whitlock. How many people at the beginning of August said you can't do supervisor in August? Everybody's on holiday. Well, everybody's not on holiday. And in September, not everybody is going to be busy. So you need to be thinking about your promotions. We have manager, 800 to 2,000 pounds a month. Is that your goal? Is that your timeline goal for December and then working it back? Because this plan, example plan, is for you, and then it's duplicating that plan and helping people in your team to do that plan. But if you are not doing it for yourself and you don't have the vision of that promotion for you or the vision of that promotion for your team, your success line, then we need to go back a step and get the right structure in place for you. Maybe you're already a manager. So for managers, why not requalify as a manager? If you're an assistant manager, the easiest way to add an extra £500 to £700, 700 to £1,000 a month to your income is requalify as assistant manager between now and December with new business. If you're a supervisor, sorry, Nikki, I know you just went supervisor, but you know what? The biggest way to get to manager is requalify for supervisor in the next couple of months. Because focusing on the milestones, stepping stones, is what grows. It's like Lego building blocks. It's what grows the towers to achieve Eagle Manager, Car Plan, Global Rally. By the way, Global Rally is in Abu Dhabi next year. Who's excited about that? There are some of you who are saying that's not possible. Wallop, shake the tree. Check your thinking. So when we look at having the motivation to take you through, to go the distance, to overcome the challenges, the disappointments, to stay focused, to do the activity with a smile on your face, feeling happy with purpose and meaning, is think about your plan, your goals, requalifying for the positions is what's going to help you next year in 2022 achieve the forever incentives. They're open to absolutely everybody, but you've got to fuel your motivation from the inside out. I just want to show one more slide. So Charlotte, you can come on the other link now. So one more slide. It's not enough just doing the plan. It's easy. I work with a lot of people who at the beginning of the month have beautiful exemplary plans. It's about this. This is where Philo would say, this is where your feet now need to match the mouth. You got to break it down into your 7-day plan. And I mean in detail. What are you doing this week? And then what are you going to do today? Right down to what time am I going to do it at? And you'll only go to this detail and not be sidetracked by things that seem less scary, is to be motivated, to be absolutely motivated from the inside out. This next step is the golden thread to staying on the track of success. It would have been so easy for the twins when they were doubting themselves and not sure if they could make it to the summit or finish the challenge. You know what? You are surrounded by I believe some of the best people in the world are in forever. The knowledge, the training, the support. But if you commit, the support will more than carry you forward. You've got to make that commitment to yourself that you're going to do it no matter what. They find reasons to make it happen, not excuses to not. And that really is the difference between being intrinsically motivated and extrinsically motivated. When you know why you're doing it, Jim Rohn says, when the promise is clear, the how becomes easy. So this has got to be part of your daily walk of life. On my desk lives my plans. In my diary are my long to-do list. It's all there every single week. And by time as well. I'm very clear about what has to happen each day to move my business forward, my team forward, and to achieve the incentives. So this is all great in theory, but I've thought it would be even better to hear from someone who's gone through this whole process herself. I am so proud of Charlotte. She just achieved 3 months for CCs. That's her first 3 months in forever, her first forever UK incentive. This is her first time speaking. She's first time on StreamYard. So between us, we hope we can get the technology to work, but I can't wait for you to hear from her. I'm going to get her to share. We're just going to have a chat. We're going to get her to share what it's been like to work the process I've just talked you through. So Charlotte, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Now you're going to stay there, and you know what? I'm going to take a picture. So give me a great big smile. I do another one. Smile. Because I'm allowed. Okay, so Charlotte, welcome. Don't be nervous. We're just having a chat. Okay, it's just like we chatted. We're just having a chat. So you got started in June. So just tell people just quick a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Why did you get started? Just a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. About 5 years ago, I stopped working and I had 2 babies within 14 months. And as the year went on, I moved towns, and life was just completely different to what I knew it as. And over those 5 years, I put on 5 stone. So earlier this year, I was feeling quite down, quite low. Felt like a bit of a robot, really, looking after the boys all the time. And yeah, so then I saw an advert locally asking people to trial the C9. And I just thought, what have I got to lose, really? I've got to do something. Nothing else was working. So yeah, and that's how I met Diana.
So then we met. So you loved the C9, and I knew that, you know, from the first time because we were still just easing out of lockdown. So when you came over to pick up your trial pack, but you didn't actually come inside, you stood on the doorstep. Indeed. So, you know, it just shows you where there's a will, there's a way. So you stood on the doorstep, we chatted outside. You loved the 1 day trial. But I knew I wanted to chat to you about the business. So a couple of weeks later, you came around for a coffee. I showed you the opportunity and you couldn't wait to get started.
That's right.
So I've lost you. Let's just bring you back. Here we are. Okay. So you got started, you got your journey pack, and then we had our first planning meeting, and I started to chat. Yeah. I started to chat to you about the idea of writing this willing to work for list. How did that feel that first time I said, now I want you to go away? Yeah,
it was quite daunting at first, but once I started, I realized actually I needed to do it, and I quite enjoyed it, because there's been a lot of things over the 5 years that I would normally have done or that I wanted to do and that I couldn't, financially and time and everything. So to get it all down on a list on paper was actually really therapeutic. But once it was down on the paper, I was thinking, although it was helpful, I just didn't think I'd be able to achieve it. I just didn't think, for me personally, that I was somebody that would be able to achieve these things. I know people do, but I just never thought of myself as one of those people. I was carrying a lot of baggage, emotionally and physically, and I just didn't think that I would be able to achieve it. I just didn't really think it was possible, but I was just humouring Diana. I just thought I'll do what she says.
And yeah, thank you so much for being honest, because I know there are a lot of people today live and who are going to watch the recording who will feel exactly the same way, that they might just do it. And I'm glad you said that. Well, I'll just do it because, you know, Diana said to do it, so I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And then how did you feel when we took your list to the next step and I suggested you write a timeline and break it down?
Yeah, it seemed much more.
So how did you feel then? What were your beliefs? What was your
calmed down a bit.
Sorry?
I calmed down a bit, because I could see that it was more bite-sized chunks. And as soon as I saw that it was on paper, I knew I was committed. So I had to do it. And the best way to do it was just to get on with it, really. So I was just listening to your advice, and just started off one step at a time and just worked my way through it. And once I got going and I ticked a couple off, I actually found that I was ahead of my target. So I think I was already in September at the end of June. So it made me realise that actually I'd probably been holding back a bit. I could have put a lot more tasks on there.
So this is a really critical point, that imagine it's not a criticism, it's just an observation, because you've heard me say this about things I've worked on, Charlotte, okay? Imagine what you could have achieved had you aimed a little bit higher.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard me say, you know, when I did a 3-kilometer swim last year, maybe all my friends did the 5K swim because I perceived them, and they're great, better swimmers. And they all said to me, why aren't you doing the 5K? And you know what? I did the 3K, and afterwards I thought, well, what if I'd set the goal for 5K? Why did I hold myself back? And you've gone through that same thing now, right?
Yeah.
Looking back, why did I hold myself back?
Yeah, exactly. And it seems so simple now, but at the time, everything seemed bigger and harder to achieve than it actually was. So now I've got loads of timelines and loads of lists, and it's become quite addictive, actually, just to see how far I can go. Yeah.
And did you do a dream board, a vision board?
Yes, I did. I did a vision board.
And you did one back then, I make it sound like it was 10 years ago. It was less than 3 months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And had you done one before? Forever ever do a vision board?
Oh, no. I didn't even know they existed.
I didn't even know they existed. Okay. So how did you feel doing your first one? And were you worried about what your partner would say, or, you know, what your kids might say, your neighbors? Okay, please share this with people, because everybody's going to be feeling the same way. How did you feel when I said, well, I want you to go away and do a vision board, Charlotte?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed doing it. I must admit, it was good, but then I was a bit nervous about sharing it, because obviously what I see as success and what I wanted to achieve might seem silly to other people. So although I had it, I was a bit embarrassed by it. But you know, I think everybody has different levels and they're at different stages, so their achievements will be different. And I didn't stay long on this one, so it actually escalated to bigger things. And one thing I did notice is my first one was very, how do I describe it? It was, I wanted to get my nails done because I hadn't had them done for a long time. I wanted to buy this and that. I wanted to get Lee some decent trainers and everything. Whereas now it's moved on to more like holidays, experiences, time together. So I can see how my mind is developing and changing as well, just from doing vision boards. It's amazing. Yeah, it's been really helpful.
You know, and it's been amazing. And you don't have to share what's on there, okay? But you did do your personal, because I have it on my notes. You know, we did the list, and then underneath it was your personal goals about how you were going to feel about yourself, how you were going to look. And you know, you did the C9, and you followed on with that, and you've lost 1.5 stone.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, your partner's always saying you're just happy. He's like, you're blossoming. You have found you again.
Yeah, I have. I can feel it. I can feel the sparks back.
And so that's what comes from, because, okay, so you've seen, I'm going to show some pictures. These are the pictures of Charlotte taking action. So this is her first, and it was her first product launch, my first live product launch since the pandemic. Charlotte's first and my first, helping her, tabletop event, my first since the pandemic. So Charlotte, doing these activities, were you so confident?
I was petrified.
Yes.
I was extremely nervous. I built up very slowly. So as soon as I'd joined, I was just speaking to my family members, Lee's family members. So it was all quite comfortable because I would chat to them normally, casually anyway. And then it suddenly dawned on me, and I thought, all I've got to do is say the same things to other people. So I spoke to Diana, and we set a date for the product launch, and I was so scared. I thought nobody would turn up, and it would just be embarrassing. And then I thought, oh my no, what happens if they do turn up? That's even worse. So yeah, but the day was nothing how I imagined it. It was calm. I enjoyed it, and I learned so much from you, Diana, just listening to all the knowledge you have about the products and the company and everything. So when everyone went, I felt a bit like, oh, I better book in another date. And it's amazing how the tiny stepping stones, without you realizing, sort of pull you along and how you grow from it.
And then, so I helped you with your first tabletop. You went out and you found somewhere to have it. You did your own research. You came across a new gym. You chatted to the manager. They said, yes, come in. I just helped you with your first one a couple of weeks ago. And you went back this week. And I said, I'd come and start you off for the first half hour. And you know what she did? She actually rang me and said, you're not coming. She says, I need to just bite the bullet and do it myself. I said, are you sure? I said, I'll come and get you started. She said, no. She says, I just have to feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. And so, that's just an example of, and you had a great time. New gel drinker. Yeah. Amazing.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. So, you are stepping out of your comfort zone all the time because you're motivated intrinsically. So that when you take the action, although you may feel anxious, nervous, tongue-tied, you're still taking the action and you're still wearing a smile and enjoying the process and the outcome.
Yes. Because I know it works and I know I have to keep doing it because it will be worth it. If I was to stop now, what would be the point of going through all that? So, yeah.
So we just made it sound like you've had no disappointments at all.
Oh.
So just
daily,
I get the whole picture that, I'm sorry, has your 3 months in Forever been full of unicorns and rainbows?
No.
We'd like it to be.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be helpful.
But you've had a little bit of disappointment. Things haven't worked out sometimes the way you'd hoped or wanted to. Yeah. But you've kept on going. You smashed 4 cc's in June. And I remember the beginning of July, you thought, 4 cc's, but I don't have my starter pack now this month to help me. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
5 cc's in July. Yeah. And you smashed it again in August. And you've already done orders this month.
Yeah.
So I just want to say a massive congratulations and thank you for sharing with people that if you take the time to go through what we've shown today, you will take the action. And I just want to point out again, and Charlotte, that's a picture of you around your little boys. You haven't missed a single training. It's not been easy. No. Your little shadows. In fact, I'm going to rename Brody and Charlie and I'm going to call them the Rainbow and Unicorn. Yes? Okay. But you've really embraced the training and you've implemented. So I just want to say a big thank you for sharing your story in the hope that we will have inspired people, whatever they're working on, manager, Eagle Manager, Global Rally, to use this process to chunk it down and take the action.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So stay there and do a quick screenshot. Give me a big smile. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting to you a bit later. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So if we go back to, the whole process of where we are beginning of September, it's a new beginning. I want to encourage you to embrace the simple process that we've shared with you this morning. It's a new beginning for the next 4 months, which sets the foundation for 2022. And it is about your willing to work for this, chunk down your timeline. You will create more intrinsic motivation than you ever thought possible. Charlotte is just one of many examples of what can happen when you start from the inside working out. And so let September be your new beginning. And I can't wait to celebrate your tremendous, tremendous success. So thank you again, Charlotte. Okay, so let me bring back on our illustrious leader. Ms. Goldsborough, are you there?
I am. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Diana. That was brilliant, Charlotte. Amazing. I did put a little note in the chat to say, shining, because you talked about energy, Diana, and it's that energy that comes across when Charlotte speak. So no wonder she's having such great results.
And she's having fun, and that's what it's about. And I think, that's the point I've been trying to make all the way through. It's not goal setting for the sake of goal setting. It's because she's scared to death doing all those activities, really scared to death. When I helped her with her first tabletop last week, she could barely say her name, and yet 7 days later she did it on her own, still scared, but she's shining through it. She's happy. She's because she's internally motivated, and that's the whole point of the process. People will say, what are you doing differently?
That's right. I've got to ask you a question though. How did you feel at your first tabletop in however many years?
Okay, so
how confident were you?
Not. So I'm going to talk about tabletops in a little bit, because and then remind me if I forget to tell you what Jeff said to me. Remind me, somebody pop in the question box, what did Jeff say to me at my first solo tabletop last Saturday? Because you are all going to be in stitches of laughter when I tell you what happened last Saturday. So, but we'll save that one. But I did it anyway.
You did it anyway. And that's the point. I think, it's true of a new FBO. It's true of leaders. When we're doing new things or things we haven't done for a long time, when we're resetting our goals, it's just as scary. We still have those doubts. And, I can go in my box here and pull out my goal, which I will share, which is re-qualifying as a manager by the end of the year. It's exciting. But to be exciting, it's also scary. Is it possible? I have to shake myself up. Diana has to shake herself up.
And if you can shake yourself up, trust me, your cross line or your upline will shake you for you.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Diana. So let's get on to the actions that we're going to take. And I want to start off by talking about recruiting. In order for us to achieve the bigger goals, the bigger incomes, if you've got things on your list for the next 4 months that require 300, 400, 500 pounds a month, if you've got things on your list that are going to push you forward to the first quarter of next year for those bigger incomes, bigger incentives, then it's all about duplication. And that's what we're going to start with now. You'll have heard many times, if you've been in the business even a short time, that we should always be looking at 3 methods of recruiting. And this has been difficult over the last 18, 19 months, because many of the things, the activities that we've done on a regular basis, we haven't been able to do due to restrictions. But the world is opening up. Different levels across the world, obviously, across different countries, but everywhere with vaccinations now, we're seeing restrictions lift. And it's time to a new beginning. It's time to go back and have a look at what 3 methods of recruiting, what our recruiting strategy is going to be. So on the slide, you'll see just some of the regular recruiting activities that we use. Warm market, obviously, is top of the list. So talking to people we know gives us a faster result, more than 3 times, in fact, faster than talking to people we don't know. So making sure that we're contacting our warm list, going back to people, not only warm list, but going back to anyone who said no to the business on a regular basis is absolutely key. We can do launches, we can do launches online, we can do launches now in person. We can do flyers, we can do tabletops, talking to people. Isn't that the key to what our business is about? Referrals, asking customers who they know, who would like to know more about the products or the business. Asking anyone who says no to the business, who they know, who may be interested in earning an extra income. If we don't ask, we don't get. So it's really important to have that on the list. We can put local adverts up. We can use notice boards. We can use online groups to put local adverts up, online notice boards, as it were, as well as live ones. And of course, we can use social media, any of the platforms that are available to us. Now, it may be over the last period we've gone through that your three methods of marketing, your three methods of recruiting have been 3 social media platforms. And if that's the case, I would really urge you to change that. Yes, different platforms are different. They have a different target market, but don't make all your prospecting online, because there's a vast amount of people who you will not be able to reach with that method. And so mix it up is what it's all about. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to focus on a number of areas, 3 or 4 different areas that we feel will give you great results and vast results over these coming months. One of the best ways to connect with people, to meet new people, is to leave a paper trail. We're now getting out and about more, and it's wherever we go. I remember being taught in the early days of my forever career that by my sponsor, Jane, that she wanted to be able to follow me by the number of flyers that I left. So if she could find a flyer, she would be able to follow and work out where I'd been. So the great thing about flyers is they are a great way to leave that paper trail, and they're easy to do as long as you've always got them with you. So in your when you leave the house, you should have a bunch of flyers with you. But also they're a great way of targeting different areas and getting your message out there that you have a great product or a great business or both. So how do we use flyers? Well, firstly, it's important to understand the objective, which is to speak to new people and make a connection. And that's why, and I'm going to show you some flyers, but that's why on our flyers, we recommend that you only put a phone number. That means that your prospect can call you or message you, WhatsApp you, but they won't be able to go out and find out lots of information. So I personally would not put my website on. I don't put my email on, because I'm giving out those flyers to talk to people, because I know that's the best result. I'm going to get the best result by doing that. So you can put flyers through doors. You can hand them out in person. Maybe you've got a local car boot sale. We have a massive car boot sale on a Saturday in this area. Anywhere there are people that you can get a lot of cards out, that is a great place to be. So any event could be shopping areas, not indoor shopping areas, I would suggest, because quite a lot of indoor shopping areas you have to have permission now to do that. Although in the past I have gone to see the people that run the shopping areas, shopping malls, and got permission from them. I think I paid £25 for 15 of us to get a special badge and be able to go out into a huge shopping centre. So where there's a will, there's a way. You maybe want to check that out too. You can also put them on notice boards, in post offices, in offices, anywhere you see a notice board, then a great place to put up your flyer. I always pin one side and one the other. So I put 2 flyers up on notice boards. And in post offices, if it's going in the window boards, then I will just get them, I can't think what the term is, but is it laminated? So that they don't run and they always look really neat and tidy. Basically, anywhere and everywhere is where you want to put your flyers. Next slide, please, Diana. Now there are lots of flyers available, and if you could just click through, thanks Diana, that's great. There are lots of flyers available on the QLS site, on your team websites, but we've been working over this last few months on putting together some new flyers that you may want to experiment with. what's very important with any flyer in this day and age is that it looks really swish, it's really good quality. This is a big opportunity, and the flyer needs to reflect that. If, for example, in a newspaper, if you were going for a job that was paying £100,000 a year, you wouldn't expect that job to be advertised with 3 sentences in the small ads. You'd expect that job to be a big, prestigious advert. And that's the same with this business. We're offering people 6-figure incomes, so the card needs to reflect that. So over the last few months, we have, as I say, been experimenting with some new cards. We've got a Recruiting Now flyer. This has been used by myself, by a lot of Diana's team in the past. If you're on the right-hand side, we've got a great C9 flyer. Again, Philo's team have used one similar to this. It's the same information. It's just a slightly different size, I think, this one. Or it's the other way around. I think that's the only difference. But a great way to connect with people on the C9. And then, of course, that can lead to talking about the business just exactly as it did with Charlotte. The card in the middle, we've only had now for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So both Diana and some of Diana's team, myself, are just experimenting with this one, slightly different to what we've had before in terms of wording. Great thing, if you could just click again for me, Diana, I think the prices will pop up. Brilliant. Okay, so a huge positive is the cost of these flyers, which are, as I say, really top quality. 500 you can see for £28, 1,000 for £35. Delivery is £8, which is unfortunate, but card is heavy. So what I'd really urge you to do is to get together with your team members and order together. If you order together, then it's one delivery and it cuts down, as long as it's going to the same place, obviously. So if you live near each other, you know, you can really save on delivery costs by doing that. Turnover is 48 hours. So a really great way of getting out there and reconnecting with people. Now, the links to order these will be out in the next 2 or 3 days in the normal places. We're just waiting for technology to catch up with us. So on the WhatsApp groups, on your usual team groups, these links will be posted probably Monday, maybe Tuesday, but certainly very, very shortly. Now, a word of warning. You might look and think 500 flyers, okay, I'll give it a go, £28. It's not much money. But the truth is, you need to do a lot of flyers to get a good result. So I'd really urge you to at least go for 1,000. You'll see when we post the links that you can order 3,000. I think 3,000, something like £70 or something, £75. But all the prices will be there. So if that seems too much to start off with, at least go for 1,000 because that will get you started. The first 3,000 flyers that I gave out, I got absolutely no response. I could have said flyers don't work for me. I didn't. I ordered more. The second 3,000, I got 9 responses. So it's about consistency. Another great thing about flyers is people hang on to them if they're quality. I've a manager in my business who had the flyer on his mantelpiece for 3 months before he called. Another manager who had been put on under the handle of her car. She'd opened the car, thrown it on the floor on the passenger side, had a really bad day at work. One day, some months later, picked it up, called again a manager in the business. So don't be disappointed. Well, you can be disappointed, but then pick yourself up and keep going because you never know when that call will come. Okay, next slide, please. I will say as well about design that you might think, oh, I don't know which one to go for. But the truth is that you can't put, it doesn't matter really about the message, because if someone's looking, they're going to respond. So pick the one that appeals to you, get out there, get them out there, and wait for the response. Okay, next slide. So what are we going to do when someone, it could be that someone sends you a text message and says, oh, I've got a card, what's it about? The response to that is, I'd love to share more info, when can we talk? So I really want you to hold in your mind the objective is to get someone on the phone. It's also really important that you are ready to take the call. Now, I can't tell you the dreadful responses to the calls that I first had, because I was so excited somebody called me. So I could have been in the car, or I remember at one point I was in the supermarket and the phone went and I answered it and they said, oh, I've got a card, what's it all about? And I stood in Tesco's with my hand on the trolley trying to have a conversation and share more info. That is not the way to do it, particularly if, as I was then, you're not very experienced. But even now, I would not ever have a conversation with someone till I was ready, till I was in a quiet place where I could focus, where I had my profile sheet in front of me and my one-to-one at the ready, so that I knew what I was going to say to them. So don't let someone who calls you take control of the call. Be the one in control of the call. Remember, they're looking for information from you. They responded to your advert, your card. So if someone calls from a card, from an advert, from whatever, then simply thank them for the call and say that you're busy at the moment, really sorry, unable to talk at the moment, but when can we speak? And then you make an appointment and you keep to that appointment. So as I said, as it says there, as I've just said, I'm always ready with my profile sheet. I like to have the one-to-one at hand because it just keeps me on track with what I'm going to say. And then I will call at the appropriate time and say exactly this. So, hey, Julie, whoever it is, it's Chris. Thanks for responding to my card. Great to talk. Obviously, you want more information, which is why I'm calling. But first, it'd just be really helpful for me if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're currently doing, and what it was that made you pick up the phone and respond to the card, and anything else you feel might be relevant. Now, the reason that I ask 3 questions, what you're currently doing, what made you pick up the phone, or what made you respond to the card, anything else you may be relevant, the prospect will pick which one of those they want to answer. Now, it could be that, in my experience, you'll get someone who suddenly starts to give you their life history from the age of 11. Other people will be a bit reticent. They might say something like, oh, I was a bit curious. And I'd say, okay, what were you curious about? You might need to prompt them a little bit. But what you're looking to do is to fill in that profile sheet, to find out as much about them as you possibly can. By asking them what made them pick up the phone, or what it was about the card that interested them, or they were curious about, they'll often tell you their reason for calling. And that means you're able to speak to their why. Now, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes I'll answer the phone or arrange to call back, and they'll say, oh, I just want to know what it's about. And I'll say, that's great. Obviously, I'm on the phone to give you more info, but it'd be really helpful for me if you could tell me a little bit about yourself. And they'll say, no, I just want to know what it's about. Well, can you at least give me your name? And I have in the past had the odd one that would say, no, I just want you to tell me what it's about. And at that point, I would simply end the conversation. I'd say, this is a communication business. I really thank you for calling. But if you're not willing to even have a conversation, then the business really won't be for you. Because if someone is so skeptical that they're not even willing to give their name when you've given yours, then there's no point continuing with the call. So don't be afraid to keep control of the call. Next slide, please. Okay, so you've got your profile up already. You want to build rapport. You're going to have a chat. You may need to ask some questions, but please don't interrogate them. And by asking those 3 questions at the beginning, that usually stops that interrogation, because we don't want to be saying, what's your name? How old are you? Are you married? You know, these are the things we want to come out of that chat and build me too. And so by doing those 3 questions, and I really urge you to practice them, you will find that people will open up to you. You'll get to the point where the conversation naturally comes to them. They've shared some to the point where they've shared some information, and now it's your turn. And I'll say, thank you, thanks for sharing, and thanks for being so open with me. And I say pretty much this every time. Thanks, Julie, that's really helpful. Let me tell you a little about me and the company I work with. Obviously, really hard to describe a business on the phone, but I'll do my best to give you an overview. And if you like what you hear, we can arrange to get some information in front of you. I feel everything makes more sense when you can see something. Does that make sense? And what I'm looking for is their agreement. Next slide, please. So I share my story. And that's why it's really important to make sure that you've written your story, you've shared it with your upline, and you're confident about what you're going to share about yourself. I share my story, and then I share the story of Forever. And that's what I use the one-to-one for. Just the little 10-minute, really quick guide to go through, keep me on track as to what I'm going to share about Forever. It's a chat, not a presentation. So I will ask questions as I go. Things like, have you ever heard of Forever? When I start talking about it, I'll say, does health and wellness interest you? So I'm looking for a 2-way conversation, not to speed through the one-to-one without them saying a word. At the end, I'll simply ask the question. As I said, Julie, really hard on the phone, but how do you feel? How does it sound? And from what you've heard so far, would you be interested in finding out more? The goal, to move them to the next step. Next slide, please, Diana. The next step is, remember the objective, to meet them in person. Now that for me can be online, or now, if they're local, for a coffee. I mean, people are fed up of being online. People want to go out and have a good reason to have a coffee. So I found more and more people are really, really open to getting together and having a chat to learn more. When we meet, so preferably I'll do it face to face, but if not, if they're too far away or they prefer, I'll do it online. I want to get to meet them. That's the key. So I won't just send them a link unless I've got no other choice. I won't just add them to one of the VIP groups. I won't send them a recording. I want to build that relationship, because in coal market recruiting, that it's the relationship that is key. All the research shows us that people join network marketing because of the person that showed them the business. So we all have the same products. We all have the same opportunity. The only thing that's different is us. And so that online meeting or face-to-face meeting is key. What are you going to do online or face-to-face? Well, if you're very new in the business, I would suggest you do the one-to-one. You think, well, I've just told them about that on the phone. There's only so much information that people can take in, and they haven't seen anything. So you are, in effect, showing them something different. I would also show them some of the products. Again, that's different to what you've said on the phone. And so the one-to-one, 10-minute one-to-one and products are something that anybody, if you've been in the business a week, 2 weeks, is able to do. Just share your enthusiasm. If you're more experienced in the business, then maybe you would go straight to a business presentation, as long as you have done a proper one-to-one in that phone call. So that first phone call for me is always 20-25 minutes, learning about them, sharing my story, and sharing information about Forever. If they are reluctant to meet up and they want more information, then there's no choice but to add them to one of the Facebook VIP groups, business groups, customer groups, whatever you're using in your team, or send them information by post. I like to get some samples into the hands of people that don't yet want to meet up with me, or send them a link to the next BP or to a recorded BP. The key is follow up, follow up, follow up. This is a relationship that you want to keep building. So we're taking them around that cycle, and we're just making sure that we are building the relationship as we do. Don't be too fast to push them around the cycle without them never having had that connection. Okay, so where are we next? I'm going to hand you over to Philo, and I can think of no one better to take you through our next method of recruiting, our next method of prospecting. Philo has a global business, Sapphire manager. She is even sat not in the UK right now, but sat at home in Kenya with her family. I know she's thrilled to be back after all this time, aren't you? Yeah, you can see the excitement.
Super excited. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, Philo has a phenomenal business across the globe. Her speciality is talking to people. It's something she does on a daily basis. So over to you, Philo.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. And well, it's afternoon here. I'm not sure whether it's still afternoon it's morning. It's still morning in London, in the UK. So my name is Philo. It's my great pleasure to take you through talking to people about the 1 meter rule. Chris took us through the 8 different methods of recruiting. And as Chris said, all you need is 3 to 4 different methods of reaching out to people. So today I want to talk about talking to people. And personally, this is a skill that I had to develop. In fact, if you talk to Chris, Jane, and Diana, we've all had to develop this skill. I'm sure there are a few people that are new on the platform, and you're probably wondering, how do I reach out to someone when I'm out and about? The truth of the matter is we all meet different people every single day, especially now that the world is opening up. We'll be linking up with people as you're out and about. So the beauty of marrying this into your busy life is the people you meet as you do your other things as well. So I remember we once went for a training with Janru, and Janru said 2 to 5 people, new people every single day brings freedom my way. 2 to 5 people every single day. So success in Forever is all about what you do every single day, touching your business every single day. And it's the people that you reach out to help in different ways. And you see the different ways as I take you through the different slides. Next slide, Diana. Yeah, so talking to people. So it's one of the main strategies to transform your business and results. So in order to achieve duplication in our business, if you want to have the big incomes, it's important to be able to reach out to different people. And in fact, through reaching out to different people, I've been able to create an international business. It's just amazing. Absolutely free. It's free. So, and it's easy to teach. It's easy to teach your team members as well. Anyone can learn it. So personally, I'm quite an introvert, and it's a skill that I'd had to develop. Probably I'd find it a lot harder than most people on the platform, but I was determined to learn it because I was determined to achieve success. Initially, I wanted to be debt-free, and that was my initial goal. And now I enjoy it. I just loving connecting with people, because you meet different people. Some become lifelong friends, some become team members, some become customers, some give you referrals of people you can reach out to and help them with either the products or the business as well. Next slide, Diana. So here, what you can see in front of you are the different places where I've met people on my busy day, and I'm sure we all connect with people in all these different places as well. So we all go out shopping. If you're a man, maybe you might be shopping for a present for your wife. And one of the best ways to ask for advice, what do you think? I'm buying this for my wife. And then you start connecting with someone. When I'm out shopping as well, I love a handbag. I can ask the next lady next to me, what do you think about this handbag? And that's the way you start connecting with people. At the petrol station, you get cashiers there as you're paying for your petrol. You can connect with them as well. While you're grocery shopping, in the train, sometimes, when I was working in London, my train ride was 2 to 3 hours. So, that's a way of connecting with someone who's sitting next to you. People in London are using buses as well, so you can connect with people. Dog walkers, during lockdown, I was doing a lot of jogging. So I was meeting with a lot of joggers as well and connecting with them. As I was jogging, I did connect with people who were walking their dogs as well. So because you tend to jog at the same time in the morning, you meet the same people more or less around that same period of time. So that's a way of connecting with people. In the past, I've registered in gyms, yes, to keep fit, but also it helped me connect with people, and I've recruited and got customers from the gym. What about in the bank? When you go to the bank, sometimes we do have to. Nowadays, everything is online, but when you go to the bank, you can also connect with people in the queue. And all of us, I know we know Dr. Maria Idigo from Nigeria, and she came across Forever, Double Diamond manager. She and her husband came across the business from a bank here in the UK. What about delivery drivers? So when people deliver products to your house, and sometimes I've been out delivering my products to my customers' houses, and I've met delivery drivers delivering products to their houses, and I've connected with them. So I was flying into Kenya, and I was at the airport. I connected with people at the airport. In the aeroplane, the lady I was sitting next to, I connected with her. We exchanged contacts with Faith, meeting her later this coming week. I also connected with the person who was sitting behind me as well. When I was in staycationing in UK, I was in Devon, and I met a few people by the beach. We connected and exchanged contact details. Most of us take cabs or Uber drivers. You can also connect with them, babysitters, cleaners, when you're on the school run, neighbors. The list is endless, guys. So once you start doing this activity, you find that you meet so many people that you can easily expand your list and show them how they can achieve success in our company. Next slide, Diana, please. Other ways of meeting people is people ask you for directions. So when people ask me for directions, I always make sure that I turn it around and I get their contact details. Sometimes we ask for directions as well. Yeah, so it's a way after you finish and you get the directions that you wanted, you can also tell them what you do, and you can exchange contact details. Marketers. So in the high street, you find people marketing different things. Most of them will easily approach you. Just listen to them, and then you can turn it around and tell them about what you do. So recently, I believe I was in Croydon. There was a gentleman busy handing out flyers, and he was a landscaper promoting his business, and we exchanged contact details. So we need to practice the 1 meter rule. Anyone who comes within your vicinity, it's a way of reaching out to people, connecting with people, so that we can help them. Also, we can achieve duplication in our business. So, when I'm checking out my products, when I go shopping, grocery shopping, instead of, doing it myself, as we usually do nowadays, I just join the longest queue, and I can speak to the person behind me or the person in front of me, and I always engage the cashier. So the list is endless. So we just need to think of the different ways where we are meeting different people. And, it's an amazing way of achieving an international business and expanding our contact list. So next slide, Diana, please. So it's all about communication. So how do you communicate to the people that you're meeting? How do you get their contact details? So communication is more than just the words that we use. So what we need to remember, immediately you exit your house, you're already communicating. Even before you speak to the person, the prospect or the person you're linking up with, you're already communicating. It's how we present ourselves to the world using our physiology, tonality, as well as the language that we use. So sometimes we concentrate too much with the words, isn't it? We're always thinking and overthinking, actually. What am I going to say? How am I going to phrase what I want to say as well? So I'm going to show you very, very shortly. So next slide, Diana. So as you can see, when it comes to communication, in terms of the words, it only amounts to 7%. So you can imagine, after 100%, only 7% is the words that we use. So before you even open your mouth, the person has assessed you and decided whether they're going to speak to you or not. So let's not worry too much about what we're going to say, because that's what we do and that's what paralyzes us. So don't worry about too much about the words we're going to use. Of course, it's important to use the right words, but it's the way we are communicating, in the way that, even the way we address. So as you see, as I go through the slides. So next slide, Diana, please. So 38% is our voice. So you don't want to talk too softly to the person you're connecting with, that they can't hear you. And you don't want to be too loud as well. You just want to be normal, just natural. Naturally, the same way you talk to your friends and your family. So 38% is your voice. So 7% are the words. And 55% is your physiology. So it's the way that you're dressed, it's your energy levels, it's your posture. Do you look positive? Do you look like you've got a lot of energy? Do you look happy? Are you smiling? So this amounts to 55%. That's what I was saying, that immediately you exit your house, you're already communicating to the person that you're going to meet during the day. So next, I'm going to take you through the words that I use. So it's very, very important to smile, because once you smile, you appear to be friendly. And also, it's when you're communicating with someone else, it's all about asking friendly questions. So as you heard from Chris, it's not about being interrogatory. It's just a normal conversation, but you're going to be asking questions. And once you ask someone else questions, you are more interested in them. So it's not about you being interesting, not about your conversation being interesting. It's about being more interested in them. So you make them feel important. And I'll show you the way you ask questions. So it's very easy. And people love sharing about themselves. People like talking about themselves. So it shows that you're very interested in the person by asking the questions. So the most important thing is to listen and not to overthink as you're having a conversation. Because what I found at the beginning, as I was developing my skills on how to reach out to people, I was overthinking. I was thinking, oh my God, what's my next question? What am I going to say? Instead of actually listening to what the response that the person was communicating. So listen more, yeah, and then the conversation will flow very, very easily. So next slide, Diana. So the question, so what sort of questions do you ask? So you need open-ended questions. So these open-ended questions begin with things like why, how, what, describe, tell me about, what do you think? So for example, it might be, at the cashier, and usually the cashiers have their name badges, and it's very important to use their name badge as well. So for example, I can say, hi, Jane, busy day today, isn't it? And then of course they'll respond, says, okay, you love what you do. How long have you been working here? So you see, it's just a normal way of having a conversation. And then I'll show you how you can get their numbers. Yeah. So like I was traveling, and I was asking. I asked a lady, I love what you're wearing. Where are you traveling to? I'm going to Dubai. Oh, okay, I'm off to Kenya. Then we started a conversation. So the questions that you had from Chris are not interrogatory. They're just to prompt an answer, and also to what you're leading on to. So by the time I finished up with the lady I was talking about, we got a business in Dubai. You might know someone who might be interested in starting a business. He says, I'm interested. I said, okay, let's exchange details, and I can pass on some more information to you. So it's just having a normal conversation, the same way you'd be talking to your family or to friends. So let's not overthink the process. Yeah. Next slide, please, Diana. So what do I say in order to get their contact details? I'm just straightforward. I just say, look, let's just exchange contacts. I'm into recruiting. What do you do? I'd like to pass on some more information to you. I'd like to connect. You can never have too many friends, isn't it? Then, do you have a card? Do you have a card? And then I always have my card as well. Do you have a card? Let's exchange details as well. If they don't have a card, of course, you have the notebook that you can jot down their number. What's your WhatsApp number? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? So remember, it's just asking for a number. If you don't ask, you won't get. Yeah. And sometimes when you're asking the number, you probably think, oh, they might not give me the number. They will. They will, honestly. For most of the times that I ask for numbers, let's say more than 80% of the time, they give me their number because you've already started a conversation. So remember not to ask for their contact details right at the beginning. So you need to have a little bit of extra conversations and asking more questions, and also telling them a little bit about yourself before asking for the number. So at the beginning, I used to ask myself, did I engage my prospect enough? So you need to engage, not too much, but enough for you to be able to get their contact details. I hope that makes sense. So next slide, Diana. Yeah. So if they ask, what do you do? All I say is I'm in the health and wellness industry, and we are currently recruiting and looking for leaders who want to earn an extra 1,000 or 3,000 part-time or full-time. I've been doing this business for 18 years. I love what I do. You might know someone, or you might be interested in finding out more. And what they'll ask is, doing what? Usually I say team marketing. Have you heard of team marketing? They'll say no. Say, look, let's link up later. Let's link up online. Then I can show you more. Can I call you tomorrow? And then I'll hand them my card, ask them for their contact details, and jot them down. So remember, the conversation takes about maybe a minute or two. Unless you're on the aeroplane, you're on a flight or in the train. So when I'm in the aeroplane, like when I was coming, when I connected with Faith, I did not ask for her contact details right at the beginning, because I know I'm flying into Kenya. I have 8 hours on the flight, so we can continue having a conversation on and off. But in the end, by the time we were coming out of the aeroplane, I knew so much more about Faith. I knew how long she was going to be in Kenya. I knew that her sister is also looking for something to do. So it's an easy conversation. So don't rush to take the contact details. Have a little bit of a conversation. Engage the prospect before you ask for the contact details. Then you're guaranteed to get the contact details. Next slide, please. So this is the power of reaching out to people. So personally, because I come from Kenya originally, and I was in the UK, I didn't have a huge warm list. So I had to learn how to reach out to different people. And you can see the figures here. So the power of reaching out to people just by speaking to 2 people every single day, 5 days a week. That's 480 people every single year. If 5% of those, if you can connect with 5% of those, and only 5% of those join, you got 24 new assistant supervisors every single year, just by talking to 2 people every single day, and marrying this process into your busy lifestyle. And if you want more, of course, you reach out to more people, isn't it? Let's say you decide to speak to 3, for example. That's 720 people for the whole year. 5% of those people becoming assistant supervisors, that's 36 new assistant supervisors. And remember, this is just one of the very many methods of reaching out to people. 5 people every single day for 5 days with 2 days off. That's 1,200 people for the whole year that you've connected with. 5% of those, become assistant supervisors. That's 65 people in your business. Even if you half of that, let's say it's 2.5% of the 1,200 people, that's more than 30 people into your business for the year. So 10 people, reaching out to 10 people every single day for 5 days, that's 2,400 people. 5% of that is 120 assistant supervisors every single year. And what you need to remember, different people have different averages. But let's say, for example, for every 25 people, you get a new manager. Just by speaking to 2 people every single year, you'll get 1 new manager into your business every single year. Within 5 years, you're a story manager. If you want to quicken that, you can get 2 managers every single year by speaking to, 5 people or speaking to 3 people. So this is a power of numbers. And in our business, is about touching your business every single day. And it's the little activity that we do, the activity we do every single day brings huge results. But it's deciding as well. So it's deciding to decide. So decide how many people do you want to speak to every single day, and also getting into the habit. So it's a skill that I had to develop, and now I don't think about it. So it comes naturally. So I engage with people naturally, even without thinking. And I don't even have to thinking what today is forever. No, naturally I'm able to engage with people and get their contact details. And as you heard from Charlotte, you love to enjoy contacting people and reaching out to people. Of course, at the beginning, it was very, very scary, but it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Yeah, feel the fear, but do it anyway. So next slide, please, Diana. So always have a pen and a notepad with you when you're out and about, and also your cards, because sometimes I can ask for contact details and the person says, I don't know my phone number. So all I can say is, have my card and reach out to me, and I'll pass you some more information. If they're not willing to give you their phone number, I always give them my card, and some also always call back. Or I've had people who've passed on my card to other people. So I've had, my friend gave me your card. I don't know where she got it, but I want to find out more. So always have a target of how many numbers you want to have every single day. So that way you're focused. So I want 2 numbers every single day. So I'm going out grocery shopping. I'll connect maybe to the cashier, or with your trolley when you're out and about. So even in the trolley when you're out and about, you can connect with someone, then you can get their contact details. So remember to follow up and channel them to a one-to-one. So remember, during the one-to-one, that's where you're going to build a relationship, you're going to build a rapport, you're going to get to know them a little bit more as well. Also, you can also channel them into a product launch. Once you chat on the phone and you do a one-to-one, you can drop them an experience pack, and also you can always get a referral from that. So remember, when you tell them, for example, I'm going to call you tomorrow evening, make sure you call them on the day that you told them that you would. So it's very, very important to follow up and to follow on what you said as well. Next slide, please, Diana. So I believe that talking to people is a win-win-win situation. So I've got people in my contact list, and because we connected, I'm still following up with them. Some have been following up for 10 years. So they get into your not for now list. Yeah. There are people who join 7 years later. It's okay. I become good friends with them. Some become customers. Number one, you gain experience as well. So practice makes perfect. So practice with the intention of getting better at it is what makes a perfect. So you can also gain a new team member, isn't it? You gain a new friend. As I was saying, I've got friends that are not even still in the business, but they give me referrals. I've got friends that I connected and they give me customers. So we're still talking. And I believe most of them will still join in the end. But we're just connecting with each other and keeping the friendship going. So the most important thing is, if you don't like them, you'll never see them again. So that's why I believe this is a win-win situation. So such an important skill to have, how to reach out to people, talk to people, and then channeling them to the one-to-one and either the product launch or the experience pack as well. So next slide, Diana. So it's all about practice, practice, practice. And to be honest, initially I did not find it that easy, but I was determined to learn. But you know, just like riding a bike or learning how to drive, it's the same. You know, once you can do it, you do it naturally. So knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. So, you know, today we've got so much knowledge on how to reach out to people as we're slowly opening up, but we've got to put it into practice for us to get the results that we want. Success is nothing. Sorry, Diana, I think you've. So success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. So it's touching your business every single day. Practice, practice, practice. Reach out to people, connect to 2, 3, 5 people every single day, and you'll see your business change. You'll never run out of people to talk to. You'll always be recruiting because you'll always have the numbers. As you're giving out flyers and waiting for people to respond to the flyers, you have the numbers and the people and the contact details for you to reach out to. So that's me. Thank you, Diana. So I think
brilliant, Philo. You just took me right back, and that first time I went out and worried so much about what to say, and you're absolutely right. A skill that is so important to develop, and but as you said, it's easy to do, but isn't it so easy not to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes.
It's making that commitment to doing it. And if we've got that intrinsic goal, then we will make it happen. I remember saying to Jane, I talk to more people, but I just don't know anybody. You know, we have team members, don't we? We get started and say, oh, well, I want to do it, but I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
There are millions of people out there.
In fact, the people we don't know are more than the people we know.
Yeah, that's right. But of course, if we're not doing it, then our teams won't do it. And I also remember Jane saying to me, you just need to get out more. You need to leave the house.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I started doing flyers, that took, you know, I don't live in London so it's not a busy metropolis where I live, but going out and doing flyers meant I then started meeting more people. And, you know, we can't sit at home, can we, behind the computer all the time. We've got to get out there and make those relationships.
And you get lifelong friends and lifelong team members, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we will see you later. I'm going to now go into launches, which another great way of recruiting. Before I do that, Diana, if you just, there we go. I just want to mention for the people that were involved in the Get the Aloe Glow campaign, just a reminder that September 5th, by then you need to have got all your copies of your invoices up to your upline, and the upline manager will then be able to order your prizes, qualifiers prizes, by September 10th, and the prizes will come direct to the qualifiers. Now, customers, obviously a phenomenal way. You've got a happy customer, a phenomenal opportunity to share the business opportunity with them. And over this next week, so keep your eyes peeled, because those teams that did the Get the Aloe Glow campaign, we will be hosting a 30-minute training on how to keep those regular customers and how to turn those customers also into FBOs. And of course, we'll be recognizing all our qualifiers. So we have the date yet to confirm, but it will be in the next 7 to 10 days. So again, just keep your eyes peeled. So launch is a great way to connect with customers about the product, a great way to share the opportunity. And I'm a huge fan of launches because I actually joined the business by attending a product launch. However, that didn't make me a fan immediately of doing them. And I remember Jane saying to me, you need to have a launch. You need to get a customer base, and the launch is the best opportunity to do that. And I thought, well, great, but I'm not doing it. And excuse me 1 sec, I'm going to have to plug my computer in.
And just in case anybody was wondering whether we were live streaming or not, this is a great example of what can happen when you're going live. So just take a moment to review your notes. Oi.
There we go. There we go. We're back.
So here we go. She's ready to rock and roll. Back in the driving.
Go. Okay. So yeah, Jane said to me, it's a great opportunity. Oh, just going to shut that door. Okay. It's a great opportunity to get customers, to meet people, to get people to join like you did. And I said, I just nodded and ignored it. But eventually, because I hadn't got a customer base and because Jane was completely consistent in her message that you need to get a launch booked, because it's not about the launch, it's about all the activity around that. So I caved in, had my first launch, terrified, just like Charlotte, terrified, but absolutely loved it when it happened. So I want you to make notes, listen, have an open mind, because launches are an absolutely key part of a retailing and recruiting strategy. And if you take them on board, not just for a new business owner, not something that you just do in your first week, your first month, but understand the opportunity that they throw up and make them a part of your regular activity, whether you're new or a very experienced FBO. So what's important to understand is that launches open up a host of opportunities. They give you people to put on your experience pack list so that you can go back to them and offer that. They give you people to go into your VIP customer groups. They allow you to talk to people you know and people you don't yet know. I didn't know, I went to a launch, but I didn't know the person at that launch. So it's a great way of having a fun evening, sharing information, learning about people and building relationships. When I have a new business owner, one of the first things, the very first activity other than opening the box and using the products, is getting launches in the diary. Because it allows me to teach the new FBO about the products, it allows them mostly to get a sale. And, you know, I remember the first product I sold was an aloe lips, and I thought, oh my goodness, maybe this business will work. And I think we're all the same. We need to see it working because then it becomes more believable that we can actually do it. So it's a great way to create that initial customer base for a business owner. It allows you to expand your customer base, get more customers, and it allows you to expand the purchase of current customers. You know, most people at a launch will buy 1 or 2 products. Yeah, I can't tell you the countless number of times that people say, oh, I'll just have these. I really want, I want everything. I want this, I want that, I want the other, but I'll just have these 2 for now. Because not everybody can afford to buy everything all in one go. And so getting a happy customer and then using the launch in order to share more of different products with them is a great way of expanding their purchase. Don't forget that it's a key recruiting activity. When I do a launch, my major objective obviously is to share information, meet new people, all of that, but my main objective is to recruit. And some of my key leaders have come from being present at a launch, and many of them I didn't know at all. And as I said, and as Charlotte said, they're fun. So they may be frightening, seem frightening at first, but they really are a fun way to spend an evening. Next slide, please. So should you do your launches live or online? You should do both. Right now, as the world is opening up, my absolute favorite preference is to do a live launch, be it in a garden, be it in a home, open the windows, keep it ventilated, follow the government guidelines in whatever country you are. But if we can just get together, then that's what I want to do. And the reason I want to do that is that I can interact with people, talk to the guests much more effectively when I'm there. When we do an online launch, they're brilliant, but it can be really hard to talk to every single person. What I love about a launch is being able to crouch down next to them, have a little chat, what products did they like, and build a relationship with the people in the room. And you can't always do that online. So preference is to get in the car and drive and do a launch. And particularly in the last few months, well, many months with COVID, we haven't been able to do that. And I've found just over the last couple of weeks even that people are more and more open to attending a live event because they want to meet people. We're tired of being on our own and stuck at home. Always use the tools, so the product launch cards, the free prize draw questionnaires. I'm not going to go into how to do a launch. There are many, many, many how-to trainings on Forever Knowledge, on QLS Online, lots of trainings on how to do a launch, but just make sure you use the tools. And one of the reasons I say that is that sometimes people are comfortable talking about the products, but they don't really want to talk about the business. They're not comfortable sharing the opportunity. And so that's what the launch cards are for. They keep you on track. You can, at the end of the launch cards, it tells you how to share the opportunity. So it really is simple. Simon Says, just follow the cards, say what it says, and it will keep you on track and getting the best results. The other reason for using the cards is we need people to look and think, I can do what you do. And I remember many years ago, we didn't have cards then. I remember handwriting my own cards so I knew what to say. And then I thought, I know this. And so I stopped using them. Been in the business a long time, knew what I wanted to say. But I started to have people at launches say to me, I could never do what you do. I'd never be able to remember all that. So out came the cards again, even though I knew what to say. So use the tools because you'll get better results. Next slide, please, Diana. Same thing with an online launch. Use the tools. We've now got the phenomenal product launch slides so that you're able to share slides with some of your audience. That often makes for a bit more interconnectivity, if that's the word. Again, use the free prize draws. With an online launch, it's all about how you can make it as interactive as possible. So think up ideas, maybe send some of the samples beforehand to people who are going to attend so they can rub them on whilst you're talking about them. Please don't decamp products. That isn't compliant, but the samples are a great way of letting people just share what the feel of the products is. Obviously, in a live launch, we're able to do that, but the samples give us that opportunity too when it's online. You need to be very organized for your online launch in order to use the tools. So things like setting up your WhatsApp groups, making sure people have got copies of the literature. So again, not going to go through how to do it. Victoria Campion has a phenomenal training on Forever Knowledge and on QLS Online, lots of other trainings on how to do it. But just make sure that you're really organized in order to get the best result from an online event, and that you go through the step-by-step steps with your new FBO so they too get a great result. Okay, next slide, please. So you've done a launch. What else can you do? Well, it's about getting creative. Don't try and cover the entire 200 products in one launch. So split it down and think about who could I invite? Who's going to be interested in these different things? So it could be a C9 and Fit launch, Gin and Skin, Pamper Prosecco, Christmas gifts. We're now coming into the Christmas season. So certainly by October, you need to be doing Christmas launches at the latest. Remember, people tend to buy their paychecks. So some people start in September, can you believe it? Not me. But by October and November, people will be full on with Christmas gifts. And really the only people buying in December tends to be the blokes. So get them early. I know that was very sexist, but why not do a men only night? Again, we've had great success with having men only launches where we go through Christmas ideas for Christmas, and they can buy things for their other halves that their other halves will really love because our products are so amazing. Think about charity events. I think it's September the 24th. It's certainly the third week of September. We've got the Macmillan Coffee Morning coming up. Macmillan supply lots of tools to help you promote it free of charge. And of course, with any charity event, not just Macmillan, any charity event, people are more open to attending, excuse me, more open to purchasing because they know that a percentage is going to go to the charity. Maybe a foot spa event. They're great fun. Or winter wellness. There's lots and lots and lots of ideas. All I'm trying to do is to tweak your brain cells to get you thinking about what you can do. Get it planned into your diary to fit with that timeline of your goals that we did earlier. Next slide, please, Diana. So the key is to a successful launch is online or in person is the connection before and after. Inviting to a launch is so, so important. It has to be a personal invite. In my experience, I found that if you post on your group or profile, Facebook profile, or if you just send a group message out, everybody thinks the other person's going to go. Nobody feels a personal commitment to turn up. And that can be online or in person. So you want to make the person feel special. When I was invited to a launch, my first launch, before I joined Forever, it was through a client. And the client asked me to attend personally. And I felt a personal commitment to go. I didn't want to go. It meant staying late at work. It meant it was a cold, wet February night. But a night that changed my life. But the only reason that I went to that launch was because I felt a personal responsibility to do so. So make your invite personal. Then confirm that they've said they'll come and that you're looking forward to seeing them. You can do that in a message again, or you can talk to them. And then remind them. I can't tell you the number of people that have not attended a launch because they forgot it was happening. Do you know what? People are busy. They've got lots going on. Particularly mums, they've got a whole calendar of things on their wall. And so a little message to say, looking forward to seeing you tonight, never goes astray. Make sure your guests fill in the free prize draw questionnaires. They're your link to going back to them. And make sure you ask for the orders and you arrange a time to deliver. It's so easy now to just... I'm just going to use the term really, be a bit lazy. It's easy now to say, do you know what? I'll just do my launch online instead of getting in the car. Do you know what? I'll do a one-to-one online instead of getting in the car. Do you know what? I'll just get them to order from my shop and the products can just get there, be delivered direct. Sometimes we have to do all of those things because of distance, because of restrictions. But every time you get the opportunity to connect with a person, with a customer, with a prospect, every time you're in front of them is an opportunity to move forward, to grow your business. So if you can take the order and deliver it, it puts you in front of that person again to build that relationship. So do it. It's so, worth it. Always add them to Facebook and Instagram. Best to do that on the night at a live event. You're probably, if it's online, you'll have a WhatsApp group. But again, ask if you can connect and get them into your groups. All the time, it's about what's the next step? What are we going to do? When you're connected with people online or live, we want to know, when are you going to see them again? What's the next step that is going to happen? Is it going to be delivering an order? Is it going to be following up on an order? Is it going to be sending more info? Is it going to be sharing information about the business? So don't do a launch online or in person and never have any other connection with those people. If you do, it's a completely wasted opportunity. Next slide, please. Thanks, Diana. So the fortune is always, always in the follow-up, and we need to follow up when we say we will follow up, and that needs to be the next day or 48 hours. It could even be just a thanks for coming, but it needs to start a conversation. So it could be on the phone, it could be in a message. If I'm doing a launch for a new business owner, then we'll have agreed with that business owner which of us is going to follow up. But always there's a follow-up plan for every single person in the room or online. So you may say something like this. Hi, Laura. Lovely to meet you last night. How did your skin feel? Often I'll say, so lovely to meet you last night. Were you bouncing all the way home after trying the aloe? But anything about that just opens the conversation. I really wanted to get in touch with you after our conversation last night. You mentioned about wanting to be at home more, not liking the job, wanting to go on holiday, whatever it was. If I could show you a way you could change that, would you be interested in finding out more? Now, that conversation has come from a live launch, from me at the end of the launch, simply going to each person, crouching down and having a little chat. And that's why I prefer a live launch above an online launch where possible. Next slide, please, Diana. It could be, hi, Annie, how are you? Lovely to meet you the other night. May seem really random, but I just had to message you. You were so bubbly and outgoing, and I'm just the sort of person I love to work with. I think you'd be amazing at what I do. Do you fancy a coffee or a chat this week, and I can give you some more information to mull over, see if it's of interest for you? You see, in that example, maybe I didn't get a reason of why they might be interested, but there was that person in the room. Do you know what I found? The person in the room that asks the most questions, that engages with the whole process, that's the person that I want to go back to and say, can I show you something? Because that's just the sort of person that I want in my business. I remember Jane saying to me, I asked so many questions at that first launch that I went to. She couldn't wait to leave. But she was joking, of course. And again, she said to me, you should find out more about the business before I'd even left the room. Now, a top tip, if you're going to message people because you think they'd be great in the business, one, you need to be sincere. It needs to be true that you really do like them, want to work with them. And please don't send the same message to everybody in the room. And please don't send the same message at the same time. Those two things, you're guaranteeing failure. So remember, it's about integrity, it's about sincerity, and remembering that we have a business that changes people's lives and sets them free. We need to share that. Next slide, please. When you're delivering orders, as I say, it is another reason, fortune in the follow-up, another way of following up. Always arrange that next connection, be it sharing, following up on the products. Are they happy with their order? Are they getting on well? Again, the things that happen can be quite amazing. I remember ringing someone and saying, they'd ordered a moisturizing cream, and I rang and said, how are you getting on with the order? And she said, oh, I really love it. It's fantastic, but I'm having a bit of difficulty getting it out of the tube. It's quite hard to get out. And I said, well, that's really strange, but don't worry, I'll bob around. And I went round to see her, and she hadn't got the seal off, the little inner seal. So she can't have been trying the product, and the product couldn't be doing any good, but she obviously didn't want to share that with me. So I went round, took the seal off, problem solved. So again, I've had people say, how are you getting on with the drinking gels? I'm going to start them when I've been on holiday. Oh, you're going on holiday next week? No, in November. No. So Fortune, follow up on the products, follow up on sharing the business. Ask people for referrals. Ask people for launches. Did you have a good evening? Would you like to host a launch yourself? Maybe incentivize them to do that. I know you're loving the product. Do you know anybody else who may love the product? Make sure you're adding everybody at your launches to your VIP groups and sharing information on more product lines. Now, I think Charlotte said this too. She worried nobody would turn up. Don't we all worry that? And you know what? Sometimes they don't. I know that's harsh, but sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes, well, I think every launch, somebody doesn't show up, but there have been times when nobody turns up. There have been times when just one person has shown up. There have been times when nobody's placed an order, and it is gutting. It's even more gutting if you're doing it for a new business owner. But you know what? That is the business. It's about keep going, keep going, keep going. Because by keep going, you will build a business that sets you free. Jane Leach did a product launch, her first product launch, Diamond Manager, nobody turned up. She did another one, second product launch, nobody turned up. She didn't stop. And thankfully, for all of us, she didn't stop, because none of us would be in this business if Jane had decided, do you know what? It's just not going to work for me. So remember, when you have a disappointment, I would say with new business owners, do prepare them. Show them how to invite properly. Show them how to do what they need to do to get the best result. But do warn them that, so they've got realistic expectations that, you know what, some people won't turn up. Do you know what? Maybe nobody will, but it doesn't matter. It's not about the launch. It's about that invite that we made that we can then follow up on. Sorry you didn't make it. Oh, you missed an awesome night. Doesn't matter whether it was awesome or not. They won't know that. Sorry you didn't make it. What you don't do is contact anyone and say, nobody turned up. So sorry you didn't make it. Can I share an experience pack with you? Sorry you didn't make it. So have a little weep, 20 minutes, maximum pity party, then pick yourself up and keep going. After all, we all know children who tried walking, fell down a lot of time, but we never said to them, do you know what? Walking's just not for you. Sit down the rest of your life. Okay, so, next slide. So knowledge is key. And so make sure that you know about the products, you know what you're going to say, use those tools. Go on to Forever Knowledge. There's lots and lots, as I say, of trainings, and on QLS Online, on Christmas launches, on pamper parties, on different ways of holding launches. So make sure you're well equipped, but get those launches in the diary ASAP, because the clock's ticking, and particularly Christmas ahead of us, there's no time to waste. If you do a minimum of 2 events per month, 2 launches of one sort or another, if you could just click to the next slide, Diana, you can comfortably add 8 case credits a month to your business. When I'm planning case credits, planning income against launches, if it's a live launch, I will plan a low of 1 and a high of 2. If I'm planning an online launch, I do a low of 0.5 and a high of 1. And that's simply the difference between being able to be there, rub on, glug back the products, and not having that facility online. So think about your goal, look at your timeline over these 4 months, and plan in how many launches of different types you're going to put in the diary to achieve the goals you've set for yourself. So now I'm going to hand over to Diana, and we're going to find out, alongside tabletops, what actually happened and what Jess said. I'm holding my breath. I don't know about you.
It's going to be doubly funny considering I helped Charlotte with her first one. So my first time out after the pandemic was actually with Charlotte the week before. So you'd have thought by the time I did my own the following week, I'd have had it down pat. But oh no, wait till I tell you. That was fantastic, Chris. You know, every time I watch a training on product launches, it takes me right back to my first one where I felt just like Charlotte. I actually didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And yet from my very first product launch, somebody joined my team.
Yeah.
And even though I was literally shaking in my boots, I could see the potential of connecting with people. And it is just, and I want to just emphasize again, it's as much as about what happens at the event, but as you said, it's all the before and after stuff.
Do you know what, Diana, as well, and you'll have had this, you know, you get a call from a new business owner, and they go, oh, there's only one coming, so I'll cancel.
I cancel it.
Coming, so I'll cancel. You know, I always say, no, it doesn't matter. That one person is great, because the number of times that we've done that launch to one person or two. I remember one, we did it to 2 people, they both joined.
And I've done one to one person and she joined.
Yeah. So you never cancel.
Never. And likewise, I've done events to 10 or 15 people and not sold a single lip balm.
Oh, no.
You know, listen, it is about the activity and what happens before and after, because it was all the wonderful chit-chatting that happened thereafter. Yeah. And I can remember my fastest manager at her first launch, nobody came and she was discouraged. And I said, just slow down. It's fine. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. The date didn't work. Her second launch, I had a bit to learn about how to coach people because still nobody came. And here's the thing, you know, how internally motivated are you? She was clear about earning that £1,000 a month at manager. So by her third launch, she had 3 different groups of people, not English. So the younger generation were translating for the older generation, 3 lots of them. She went manager in 4 months after 2 first launches where nobody turned up. And so this, you know, if we haven't said it already today, when you do something, you know, you can't just have one. We send our kids to school. They don't just have one maths lesson. They don't just have one, you know, grammar lesson or reading lesson. And yet we do something once and a little disappointment and it feels like the sky is falling. Don't cut yourself off from one of what I believe is the most amazing opportunity with Forever because one thing didn't quite go to plan.
Absolutely.
But, you know, launches are extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. So thank you so much, Chris. Let's dive straight in. We're going to have a look at tabletop events. Now you can call them aloe pop-up bars. You can call them tabletops. You can call them stalls. You can call them lots of different things. And just to, you know, clarify the difference, you know, people say to me, well, Diana, did you do an aloe pop-up bar or did you do a tabletop? And I'm like, well, I don't know. For me, they're more or less the same thing. An aloe pop-up bar, I guess, is when you really just focus on the aloe drinks. That's your whole purpose of the event, is to get the drinks information into people's hands and get them trying the aloe shots. I guess, a traditional tabletop is where you have quite a broad selection of products on the table. But doing an event is doing an event. The idea is getting out there, getting some things booked in your diary. Why? Because it's an opportunity for you to meet people, to grow your network, be part of your community. And if you do all those things, you will grow customers and grow a team. If I look at my customer base today, I would say a good number of my regular aloe gel drinkers that I have today have come through doing, aloe pop-up bars, tabletop, a table with the aloe drinks on it at the local gym for 2.5 years before the pandemic. I was at the gym about once a month. I would go for a couple of hours. It just gave me an opportunity to meet people, but also for people to see me more than once. So I wasn't a flash in the pan stall holder. People would be checking me out as they would see me regularly there. And I just want to preface again, when I did my first tabletop aloe bar, it must be, I don't know, I feel like we've lost 2 years with the pandemic. So it must be, say, 5 years ago. And I didn't want to do it, but I'd gone to a national training, a success day, and someone did a great training on it. And I thought, well, if I'm ever going to be able to teach it, I need to be able to do it confidently myself. But more than that, I wanted to be absolutely confident that if a new person joined my team, if they didn't know anybody on the planet, that if they just did aloe pop-up bars, that they could go on to grow customers, recruit, and achieve manager. So there I rock up to my very first tabletop event at the local gym. I didn't want to be there. I had stinking thinking. I didn't have a clue what to do because I didn't implement the training. I sat behind the table and waited for people to come to me. And 2 hours later, having paid £25 for my table, went home with a bucket full of disappointment. And I swore I would never do it again. Well, not really. What I learned was you've got to do things 4, 5, 6 times to find your flow. It's managing what you are expecting. And this is why we say doing events comes with personal development. You may not find your flow first time round. And if you haven't done an event for a long time, like me, 18 months, 19 months, and even though I helped Charlotte do her first one the week before, on Saturday, so a week ago today, I did my own event, and I came across it by accident, actually, because I have been openly looking for venues to go and share our products. And so because it was a bank holiday weekend last week, and this was an all-day event, it was from 11 until 4, but it was being hosted at the local brewery. Now, how about that for a venue to have a tabletop? Because of the 3-day weekend, both our kids were out the whole weekend. And I said to Jeff, why don't we make a day of it? Why don't you come with me? He said, it's at the brewery. I said, you can have a tour of the brewery. You said you can have a couple of pints at the bar. You can have a pizza. We'll make it a bit of a social event. And he said, yeah, sure, sounds great. So off we go. And the first couple of hours was quite slow, which made us think, shouldn't we? And then the sun came out. It was like a festival being held in a brewery. It was fantastic. So I chatted to lots of people, and then someone wanted to buy something. Well, that's when it all fell apart. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I couldn't find my my credit card machine. I was thinking, do I write a receipt? I couldn't find the bags that I had taken. I couldn't find if I never did write them a receipt in the end. And then, I've been doing this business 20 years, and they said, how much is a bottle of gel? Why was I suddenly tongue-tied? I've sold gazillions of bottles of gel in 20 years. I didn't have a clue what the price was. I found myself fumbling to find a product brochure to look up what the price was. Anyway, it took me about 7 or 8 minutes to sell a bottle of gel. And there was Jeff standing kind of the other side of the table looking at me like this. right? Like this, puzzled. And then afterwards, as the customer scuttled off, he looked at me, he said, for goodness sake, he said, you look like such an amateur. And I went, I know, I got all flustered. I said, I haven't done one myself in over 18 months. He said, you need to get your shit together, woman. He said, can you be a bit more organized? He said, clearly, what do you need if someone's going to buy something? Your receipt pad, the price list, the yellow flyer, your little credit card thing, have your phone synced to it. I said, yes, I know. I said, isn't it time for you to go to the bar and have a pint? So the point is, even if you haven't done something for a long time, it didn't go smoothly. I had to not relearn it, but remember it. So be gentle with yourself when you start anything new or start something again you haven't done for a while. So where can you have events? Well, quite frankly, anywhere. And what I'm experiencing is some of the places I was doing events at before the pandemic are not ready to have events now. So my local tried and trusted gym are just not having events at all for quite a long time. So I'm open. I'm looking at other local gyms. It could be offices where there are a lot of people coming back into the office. They will quite happy have in their staff room, like a health, you could call it, a boost your immune system event, where you're really focusing on the products that will support a healthy immune system. So offices, because I know employers know that if they can increase people's health levels, they will have a reduction in sick days, which makes it much more cost effective for the employer. So think about offices where there are people going in to work, where they have perhaps space, a boardroom, a staff room, a foyer, where you can promote and chat to their employees about our health products. Quite often, villages or towns will have village events, May Day events. It is about having a look around, because now that the world is opening up, there are events beginning to be booked. Church events, there are going to be theme events, Christmas fairs. You need to be getting in now for the Christmas fairs. Wedding fairs. I haven't found a wedding fair locally, so it's just you've got to keep looking. And how I came across the one at the brewery is I was on nextdoor.com and I was just asking, does anybody know of any events happening locally? And someone said, yeah, we're doing something at the local brewery. Let me tell you, my first impression was, is that something for me? But I just inquired, and when I learned about the event, I thought it sounds perfect, because it was a community event. They used that place as a venue. So be looking in different Facebook groups. Find an event. Stallfinder.com is a website you can go to. But again, you've got to keep going back to look at it, because as the world is opening up, more and more events are being scheduled. Look at your local community app. So I'm on nextdoor.com. So that's where I look. I'm in some local Facebook groups. Just ask around. And because the guy who I spoke to about the event at the brewery, because I asked him, what other events do you know of that are taking place? And he said he was doing a couple more, and that if I was happy after the event at the brewery, he could suggest another one. So guess what? I have another big event booked for next Saturday. So, all the things you've heard from Chris, from Fido, about just talking to people, ask questions, find out what's happening in your local area. So what do you say? Well, you can email places, but you can email till the cows come home. If you're doing local events, why not pop into the gym? Pop into the, the retail offices. Pop in and just chat. Say, can I speak to the manager? Say, my name's Diana. For some time now, I work with a global health and wellness company, Forever Living Products. Companies like you love us coming in to share information about our products, which keep people healthy and well. Who can I speak to about perhaps coming in and sharing our products here with you? Really, really simple. Who are you? What do you do? Why do companies love us? And what do you want to do next? If they are bigger events, And you may find this with market, like big fairs, country fairs, etc., or wedding fairs. Make sure you're the only forever person who's booked in to go. It's not the FBO's fault. Sometimes if the organizer of the event is new at booking the stall holders, they sometimes forget to ask what company you're with, forget to write it down on the sheet. So you have to expect in your forever career, occasionally you're going to pop up and there might be another FBO there. Listen, there are 17 million people in the UK. You can either agree to share the day or actually just find another event. There's no need to be desperate. Some places will charge more than others, so you need to be thinking about your budget. So the event that I'm doing next Saturday for the day is, I think it's a morning event. It's £20 for the table. And some people might think, oh, £20 or even £30 or £40. And you start to work out, what do I need to sell for my profit to break even? And that's a dangerous game to play, because I don't look at what am I selling on the day. I probably do 2 to 3, I'm going to say 3. Okay, 2 to 3 case credits every single month of retail, just to those repeat customers that I acquired through doing events. And when you add up that retail profit over the last 5 years, 3 case credits just from those handful of customers, and also the people who I've recruited into my team, it has wiped out and stopped, that 20, 30 or 40 quid that it cost me to have that event. Quite often you can offer a raffle prize. A raffle prize, if the event is doing a raffle, can be anything from a lip balm to a voucher for a home pamper evening for them and 8 of their friends. And again, always ask if they know about other events. What you need to take, and again, across all the various websites, team websites, if you're in my team, Jane's team, in one of the other leaders' teams, on Forever Knowledge, there are lists of what you need to take. I want to give you a word of caution, and that is simplicity. Okay? But here we go. People say, well, I need a list of what I need to take. And the danger is we give you the list, and then you go down the list and you say, well, I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. Oh, that means I can't do it. Listen, the most simplest way to do an aloe pop-up bar is take 3 of the aloe drinks chilled out of your fridge, some little plastic shot disposable glasses or paper shot disposable glasses, a few flyers, and rock up, plop them on the table, and there you go. That's your tabletop. You don't need a 35-pound Forever tablecloth. You don't need a 50 or 70-pound Forever pop-up banner. You don't need everything under the sun. What you need is a few bottles of aloe, some shot glasses, and some literature. So don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Here's one that one of our managers, Kat Birchall, did last weekend. I think she was at the same weekend I was. Her first one since before the pandemic. And you can see she just took her products. She doesn't have a Forever tablecloth. She doesn't have a banner. It's on a picnic table. The point is get out and chat to people. It's not about being perfect and making sure you have everything that's on the list. So what to do on the day. This is the one at the brewery. I like the irony of it because there I am promoting my aloe shots and I'm surrounded by barrels of beer. We just giggled the whole time. So on the day, I do offer free aloe shots. Now, I just want to pause and just do sidebar for a minute because we are still very much living in a pandemic. So in this picture, I'm not wearing a mask. And that was probably, I should have taken a picture wearing a mask. But, I'm a visual and a bit vain. So when I had my picture taken, I took my mask off. And I say that because Jeff, who was with me the whole day, he did go to the bar a couple of times, have a pint in the pizza van. But he wore his mask the entire time, even when he was chatting to people. So I want to encourage you to do what you feel comfortable with. If you're indoors and you're doing an event, you can wear your mask. It is not frowned upon. In fact, it is respected. I spoke to loads of people. I was wearing my mask and they were wearing their mask, and they just took it off quickly to have their shot of aloe and put it back down. Have lots of sanitizer. If you're using plastic shot glasses and if you've used to wash them and reuse them before, I would encourage you to have a little bin on your table and just they take it and they chuck it straight in the bin so you're not touching it. Also, you'll see I didn't pour out the gel drinks. The glasses are empty, so if I let them pick up the glass they want, and I poured it into their little shot glass without touching the glass. It's just little things to be aware of so you feel happy that you're taking just a little bit extra care that we're keeping everybody safe and not passing any germs on. So that's probably the only time you'll have seen me behind that table last week. We don't have a chair. We don't have a stool. We are in front of the table. And as people are coming by, I will make eye contact. I will smile. I will hand them one of the Forever Flyers gently. And I'm not really fussy. Generally, whatever I have in front of me, which of course I've now moved, I generally hand out the yellow flyer, the yellow aloe flyer. Okay, Chris, you find one while I talk. The yellow aloe flyer. But really, any of them. We have the Forever Web store where you can buy a pack of, 100 for a couple of quid. I'm not handing out brochures. Giving me something to hold. Here, let's add Chris. Giving me something to hold makes me feel official so that as people come by, I feel like I'm official, and it gives me an excuse to say, hi, have you heard of aloe? Would you like a free shot of aloe to boost your energy for the afternoon, to give you better skin? So that's the flyer I normally hand out. Thank you, Chris. So it is about engaging in conversation. And then when people say, sure, I'll have a drink, have you heard of aloe? Do you remember Fida was going through the the open-ended questions? Have you heard of aloe? What do you know about aloe? Have you tasted it before? And when you take them, so it's just finding out about them. Are you local? Have you been here before? Have you come to this brewery before? Have you been to other events? Have you been going out much? It's just getting to know them. I do encourage them to fill in a free prize draw form to offer them a free home trial pack. And I do say, listen, I'm not going to call you every 5 minutes because I don't have time. Because quite often people can get a bit anxious if they feel you're going to be hounding them and be, really do hard sales, but I don't. So I just make it very, very clear. Here's one I did do at the gym before the pandemic. So you can see really focused on the aloe gels. But you'll see to the right, I just have a few of our most popular products. This is something Claire Shanks and my team suggested I do. She said, Diana, I know you're just there doing the aloe drinks, but just have a few of the other products just to the side because people will recognize them and draw, people who have used the other products will be attracted to your table because they recognize that. Okay, so get there early, speak to the stall holders, stand in front of your stall, make eye contact. Would you like a free shot of aloe? So 4 cheers in the follow-up. So do chat to people. Not everybody I chat to will taste the aloe. Not everybody I ask will fill in a free prize draw. Most of the time I'll go away with a couple of what I say good leads. Last Saturday I filled in, I think, 10 free prize draw forms. I sold quite a bit of aloe, unusually highs. I don't normally do that many sales on the day. But I know, I've on Thursday night, which is when I booked in my diary to call them, I'd only spoken to a couple of people. The rest I left messages. Now, here's the thing. It's on me to keep following up. I left a voicemail. I've put in my diary now. This afternoon, in fact, straight after, I've got 30 minutes. I'm just going to see who I can catch home. And then again on Monday and then Wednesday. I want to keep building that relationship. Remember, Charlotte came from a C9 trial pack. If you're not getting products out there, tabletops for me is an opportunity to meet people. It's not just about customers. It is about recruiting. So I never would have met Charlotte. She never would have been the shining star had I not been out offering C9 trial packs. Oops, wrong mouse. Here we go. So we were talking a little bit about, the days about making connections, and just, bear in mind, SW, 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 SW. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. And my goal, remember Chris was saying, it's always about the next step. The next step. The next step. My next step when I'm out at an event chatting to people, my next is I want their details, because the next after their details is I want to get products in their hands in a trial pack, because that gives me a chance to get to know them, so that the next step is they either become a customer or I prospect them and show them the business opportunity. So it's always thinking about what next, whether you're doing a product launch, like Philo, you're out doing flyers and talking to people, whether you're doing an event and interacting with people in your community. What I can tell you is that, events are amazing. If you don't know a single soul in your community, get out and start doing events, but be patient, because you will need a couple of goes to find your flow. Clearly, even me, 20 years on, Jeff, you look like such an amateur. I'll never forget that. Okay. But, we're human, and no, it's not a test. I still got their details. I'm still following up them. They'll still have, an experience pack at home. So tabletops are awesome. And I absolutely know if someone joined me today and didn't know a single soul on the planet, I could teach them how to do a tabletop event, and they'd go on to do manager simply by doing events. That's how confident I am about them. So with that, I'm going to bring Chris on just for a moment, just to change gears a little bit and do a quick wrap up around recruiting.
Thank you, Diane.
Just like we rehearsed.
Did we? Well, the quick wrap up around recruiting is activity, 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 activity. We haven't focused on every single method, and you can choose from the list, but I will reiterate that we need to mix up online and offline. And in my experience, even just this last couple of weeks, I've seen people much more open offline, because we've all been locked up. And so even reconnecting with warm market, people have been more than happy to meet up for a coffee. So as Jane said to me, if you need to have more people in your team, if you need to have more customers, we just got to get out more and make sure that we're sharing the product, sharing the opportunity, and we've given you lots of ideas to do that. And my advice would be is to mix all those up. Do a little of everything, because when you give out the flyers, you're going to wait for responses. While you're waiting for responses, you can be doing tabletops, you can be doing launches, you can be out there talking to people. So a little bit of 3 or 4 different activities will bring you the results you're looking for to hit that goal, those goals that you wrote this morning and put on your timeline.
Thank you, Chris. And just for the final bit now, we have a little bit of a surprise for you, because we know that the last 18 months has been like nothing any of us have ever experienced. And sometimes when you've not been in the business as long as we have, it can seem, now what am I trying to say? Do you know what? We want to give you a different opportunity to cement your willing to work for list, but from a different perspective. And that is connecting with forever on an emotional level. The last 18 months has been fraught with challenges, learning new skills, learning to work in different ways, communicate different ways, socialize, etc. And here we are saying, everything is possible. Well, we want to give you a unique opportunity. We know that this business has been founded on some pretty strong principles, and we recently mourn the loss of our founder, Rex Mon. However, there's a very beautiful video of his that will give you the unique experience to develop your connection with the values of this company. Because if you can take the values of this company with you wherever you go, I promise you it's going to change you. You will behave differently, speak differently. You will shine in a way you haven't before. So don't be dashing off, because we then have another little surprise straight after that. So I want you to sit back, watch this, but watch it fully so you can get the full benefit. And I'll come back in just a few minutes.
Hello. It's great.
That didn't work, did it? We try again, Diana. Hang on. Hang on. Don't go anywhere, anyone. Hang on. Wrong button. Here we go.
Hello. It's great to be with you. I wish it was in person rather than through technology. I've been trying to get back to the UK since we left the global rally back in 2014. And I promise I will make it back as soon as I can. I love the UK, and its history and resilience has always inspired me. When you get the time, ask Bob about our trip to the House of Commons. Wow, what a day. I'm so excited to see what you all have achieved in the last few years. Your growth has been incredible, and I'm grateful for all of your hard work and sacrifice. A lot of that growth has been brought about by new people coming into the business to take advantage of our generous marketing plan and effective product line. So I thought I would take just a moment of your time to share with you a little bit about where Forever came from and where Forever is going. I've heard people describe this as our culture, but I think it's simply who we are. Several decades ago, I was an executive for a real estate development company called Del Webb. And at that time, there was a lot of excitement about a new business concept. And like many of my colleagues and friends, I went along to a business opportunity meeting and listened to a presentation about multi-level marketing. I immediately fell in love with the concept that people would be motivated to help each other and be able to make a living doing so. It's a beautiful thing when you think about it. Although I was enjoying my career, I didn't think that I was contributing as much as I wanted, or as much as I could, to improve the well-being of the people around me. Inspired by the concept of people helping one another, I set out to write a marketing plan that is almost identical to the one that we use today. As I developed it, I had two goals. One was to pay the highest bonuses possible and still be able to run a company effectively. Two, to build a plan that would motivate and encourage people to keep working. I wanted a plan to reward those that remain active and engaged. I love the concept of a royalty income. However, I believe that it's good for our souls to work hard. People who work hard are happier. Of course, if you work hard, you should play hard. And that was one of my motivational factors in starting Forever Resorts. It was to give people the opportunity to spend time with their loved ones and experience the wonder of nature. Next time we're together, maybe I can tell you more about my passion for our resorts. our rare animals, and spectacular natural resources. So, with the marketing plan prepared, I needed to find a product. And we searched around and looked at different opportunities. I was passionate about finding something that was effective, consumable, and that we knew would not be a fad. During my search, I met a group of doctors who had developed a method of stabilizing aloe vera. They convinced me of its efficacy, and we began testing the product, and were amazed by the results. We were in business. We had a fair and balanced marketing plan, a consumable, effective product, and the third ingredient, an absolute conviction that we could make a difference in the lives of the people around us. And while it might have been a bit presumptuous, we honestly believed that we could make a difference in the world. We put in generous return policies, customer service incentives, and began to build this business based on the principle of being nice to one another and helping others. The success was incredible, and we grew rapidly until Christmas of 1982. I was sitting at home with the family, and the phone rang. They informed me that there had been a freeze at our aloe plantations in Texas, and that all of our aloe was destroyed. I immediately went to the airport and flew to South Texas to see what we could do. I hoped and prayed that when I arrived, what I saw would be better than the news I had received. But that wasn't to be the case. We had no aloe, and the business immediately began to suffer. There were some FBOs that left, but more importantly, there were those that stayed. It was a tough time for us. We put everything on the line to stay in business, and there were many sleepless nights. But we were convinced that what we were doing was right. We decided that this would never happen to us again. We flew out to the Dominican Republic and purchased as much land as we could, and began planting aloe in one of the safest weather zones in the world. In addition to the acres of plantations in the Dominican Republic, we now have plantations in Mexico and South Texas. It was a tough lesson to learn. But during the tough times, we became stronger and we grew the most. We grow roots that strengthen us and help us to overcome the challenges and obstacles that life throws at us. I have learned that solid principles and core beliefs do not have a sell-by date. It is never old-fashioned or out of style to be nice to each other, to honor your commitments, and to treat people how you would wish to be treated. I recognize that many of you might not have heard about our beginnings, as you are new in the company. I am thrilled that you're part of our forever family, but I ask you to be mindful of the foundation upon which this company has been built. Forever was built on the principles of paying the highest bonuses possible, providing the most effective and highest quality of product, and empowering people to serve one another. There are no shortcuts to success in our business. Of course, the speed at which we reach certain levels may vary, but the fundamental principles remain unchanged and will remain unchanged as we continue our journey over the next 4 decades and longer. There will be times when a pathway will open up to you that will tempt you to take a shortcut, to buy a little more product than you may need, to make a purchase in someone else's name, or other ways in which we are tempted to give up what we want most for what we want now. Never forget that you're a part of something special, a business that has been built upon taking the road less traveled. It may not be as fast and as shiny as you might want it to be, but take it from me, the road less traveled is more rich, more wonderful, more fulfilling, and more lasting than you can ever imagine. We love you, we appreciate you, we are proud of you. My name is Rex Mon, and I am forever.
I always watch that and always find myself being filled with such deep emotion. But now just hold on, because that was the foundation of Forever's 43-year history. I want you to watch something else, which really is where we are today in the world, looking at today as a new beginning and looking ahead. So just watch this. Just hang on. Just take me a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Wanted it to last forever. And the very best way that we can honor him and his legacy is to continue to work and use his memory to inspire us to work harder, go further, and fly higher than ever before. It was mentioned today about how Rex always focused on the highest quality when it came to our products. I promise you that will not change. We are committed to maintaining those high standards that Rex has instilled in this company, and we will continue to innovate and invest to ensure the excellence of our products. It was also said several times today how much he loved people and took time to engage with them and make them feel special. We can all follow his example by talking to more people. There's so much to talk about. We can talk about Rex, about our memories with him, about our great products, about our opportunity, about the ability to run our businesses from home. Even at this sad time, there is so much to be positive about. You know, in building this amazing company, Rex has developed an incredible team across the world. And I mean the workers in the aloe fields, the staff at Aloe Vera of America and Forever Nutraceuticals, the teams at Forever Direct, and in so many distribution centers and offices around the world. And the people who I spend so much time with here at the home office in Scottsdale. Every one of these people is dedicated to making you successful. We are more united than ever, more determined to provide everything you need to achieve your dreams, and we want to demonstrate this and honor Rex by laying down a challenge to all of us. And what is that challenge? It's to 2x, to 2 times, to double what we are doing now. Now, I know that's a big challenge, but you know Rex, he always set big goals. Rex would love nothing more. And I am not just asking all of you to double. I'm going to personally double my commitment to all of you. And by way of proving that to you, I want you to know I'm hitting the road. That's right. I am traveling soon, and I want to come see all of you as soon as possible. In fact, in September, I will be heading to Europe and then to the Middle East to host a GLT summit in Dubai. And I am working on planning trips to all corners of the world in the coming months so that we can be together, we can work together, we can dream together, and of course, we can achieve together. The world needs forever more than ever before. We owe it to Rex to honor him by sharing his vision with as many people as possible. As Rex's favorite author, Robert Louis Stevenson, wrote so brilliantly, do not judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Rex was a man who planted many, many seeds. Some sprouted to form this great company founded on the values of leading with love, seeking adventure, and remaining forever grateful. For all that he planted, Rex never expected so much as a stem in return. His joy was found purely in the harvest of others. And because of that, Rex's story will live on forever.
So how about that for setting the scene or in our closing bit now about here you are with a new beginning. You know, everything is in place to support you. And I'm just super excited about what's possible for you going forward. I'm going to bring Chris and Philo back on. I'm also going to bring Maddie on because I want to give Maddie, give them a wave. And Roger in the background. Maddie has been working tirelessly behind the scenes, helping us with all the digital side, the slides, the music, the videos. I was the pilot today, but Maddie was the engineer behind it. So a massive, massive thank you to Maddie for supporting us. Without you, there would have been a few glitches, I think.
Can I just say that it was worth every second? It was a truly amazing training. So, you know, sometimes you work through the night and you think, well, what the heavens was that about? And sometimes you work through the night and you think, I'll do it all again tomorrow. It was so brilliant. And that's what I felt. So thank you.
No, thank you. And a massive thank you to Charlotte. I know you're not popping on, you're on the watch list, but thank you for coming in your first debut on a StreamYard Live. We look forward to
fantastic
and celebrating more of your successes. So Chris, Philo, closing words, parting words after that emotional video from Rex and also one from Greg.
For me, when I've been honored, we've been honored, Ellen and myself, to meet Rex many times. And always the first words out of our mouth was thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the chairman's bonus checks. Thank you for the global rally. Just thank you. And in all the years, I think probably 17, 18 years of meeting Rex, his answer was always the same. And that was, go talk to more people. Bring more people. And I think what always stays with me, it goes back really to the start of this presentation, and that is to recognize that we are part of something special, something very special that we need to share. And because of that, we're all strong together.
Yeah, perfect. I couldn't say it better myself. Thank you, Chris. Philo?
Yeah, and for me, I'm so honored to have come across Forever because it's big. It's bigger than all of us. And having met Rex and Greg as well, they are very passionate about helping people, about bettering people's lives. Forever has changed my life beyond recognition. This is a family company. So and everyone can succeed. The bottom line is, how can we have a positive impact in everyone's life? So and whenever I met Rex, it was, are you happy?
Yes.
So, are you happy? Whenever you said thank you, he says, no, don't thank me, go and help someone else, like what Chrissy was saying. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing, and we all need to go and spread the forever love. Let's spread the forever love and touch other people's lives. So Maddie wants to say something.
Yeah, I was on a bus on one of the rallies, and Rex was the guide, and he was doing a one-to-one for the bus driver.
Yeah.
So he too
to
everyone. And I just thought that was a perfect way to end. So the man who owned the company with an envelope doing the marketing plan, and first of all, he asked him about what his dreams are, what he wanted to do. Anyway, I just thought it was a perfect circle.
Perfect. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing some time with us. The replay will be available on the same link. Remember, this is your new beginning. Wherever you are, give your willing to work for list the time it deserves, your timeline for the next 4 months, your vision board or vision box. Take the training around the retailing, recruiting, watch the how-to trainings that are available, chat with your upline, chat with your team members, because everything is possible in the next 4 months. Thank you. Chris?
All right.
Now, I'm just going to say, and as Rex would say, when the going gets hard, grit your teeth and just keep going.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Have a phenomenal September.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.